Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here. Welcome to the show. Alabama now ranked number 10 or number 11, depending on which poll that you look at. Now, I posted it in the comment box that they are ranked number 10. Now, that is in the coaches poll, and in the AP poll, they are number 11. Doesn't matter. Maybe they're not even a top 10 team right now, and that's okay, because all that mattered last night was that Alabama defeated Mississippi State by a score of 40-17. I want to take your calls tonight. Call-in line is open. You can call in immediately and be the first one on. And actually, we already have a phone call. Get to that in just a second. 205-850-1994 is the call-in line number. We will leave it posted. And you can also see the call-in line inside the comment box. I appreciate you guys joining the channel, hitting the thumbs up, liking, and subscribing as we dive into Week 6 of the college football season. Alabama and Texas A&M will play this coming Saturday, October 7th. Kickoff is 2:30 p.m. Central Time. TV is CBS. Alabama favored by 7.5. And with that said, let's just open up the show and go right to the phone lines with the 251. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Hey man, this is Robert from Mobile.
Hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing, man? I appreciate it, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Hey, so you say Alabama's favored by 7 points in College Stadium?
Yeah,
Station?
Yep. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that as well. Yeah, but the line is Alabama 7.5 going into this game. I think that people starting to believe into this Alabama team, if you can believe it or not. And I think that it's a challenging environment, as we know. The last time that Alabama was in Texas A&M, as you guys know, Jimbo Fisher was able to defeat Nick Saban head-to-head. But ironically, last year, it was Jalen Milroe who beat Jimbo Fisher head-to-head. So with that said, welcome to the show, Robert, and take it away, man.
That's kind of surprising for me, too. Considering how well they played over the weekend against Arkansas. Mac Johnson looks, he completes some really tough throws that I think we could probably complete on Alabama if we give him enough time. But okay, I guess we'll see come next weekend. I think if we can win that game, I think it might be, where we can start, seeing ahead of, okay, we can pull this out. Maybe meet Georgia in the SEC championship game, and who knows how that game can go. Georgia didn't look like world beaters against Auburn. Of course, the voodoo doll had a lot to do with that. That Auburn breaks out all the time. But it's next. I think this weekend is the biggest test. Nick Saban's already said it's the toughest test all season. And I think I got to tend to agree with them. In that hostile environment, the cowbells are annoying, but at least you can hear a clap. Texas A&M, you probably wouldn't be able to hear a clap. Which kind of, Nick Saban said that was the reason why they weren't going under center on those third and shorts. But they did go under center on one third and short and didn't have any problem at all. So I still can't figure out why on third and on 1 yard, we're not running the strongest quarterback in college football under center for a quarterback sneak. I just don't understand that. But, okay, whatever. It drives me crazy watching us in the shotgun. I think we did twice in the first half and didn't make it. But you had a penalty or whatever, snapping it out of the shotgun on 3rd and 1, third and 1 or less. But whatever. Milroe looked really good. He was, I know once they weren't passing at all, which is really surprising. It was like 2 possessions, didn't throw a single pass to it, maybe even 3.
Mm-hmm.
But once we finally passed, he, got into a bit of a rhythm. Still on pass, 12 times the entire game, 12 attempts?
Yep.
Okay, I mean, that's fine for Mississippi State. I guess you see the feel of the game, what the team, your competition you're playing against. But, next weekend, 12 passes isn't going to cut it.
Sure.
You're not what we did would be. I'd be shocked to the hilt that we beat Texas A&M and Kyle Field with just 12 passes being attempted.
Sure.
So we got to get those pass numbers up. But, it was the running game was better. It started out a little shaky early, and I did like seeing Miro break that big one that we all knew he could do. It'd just be great if he does it more often to give the extra element for teams to have to deal with. He brings that into his game, and he could be, a quarterback that, hey, you can go the distance with him. The defense, once again, unfortunately for Will Rogers, goodness gracious,
Yeah.
got this guy's number beyond belief. I mean, I've never seen Alabama dominate a single player like that. You figure out of 4 tries, he'd have at least one good game.
He hasn't had one.
It's just amazing. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're at home or on the road. It's like, really? And he's better than some of the quarterbacks that have had good games against us. It's weird. I guess when it's in your head, it's in your head. But it was Christmas with him yesterday. He was just giving our guys interceptions left and right there for a while. But okay, thank you. I'm pretty sure that's his last chance to get a win or at least make it a game against Alabama before he moves on. But sorry, guys, that's just how it goes, I guess.
I think that with Jalen Milroe, the thing was last night, when you look at his statistics, look, he doesn't have to do a lot because of the defense. And that's not a knock on him or anything like that. It's just like, look, what he does is enough. And a big touchdown run by him last night buoys a lot of momentum for this team. And when you look to the statistics last night, I'll bring them up on the screen. Just like you said, he only had to throw it 12 times. The defense is that good that they can create turnovers. They can create good field position, 10 to 12. That's a good percentage on the season. He's 69% throwing the football. Last night he had 164 yards. And the thing that I like about him, we're on with Robert from Mobile. Call-in line is open. And I do have some callers in the call queue. I appreciate it. I'll get to you guys in just a second. But when we look through the stats, the thing that jumps out to me is he's not forcing the football. And when he doesn't force the football, he might take a couple sacks. Whatever. 2 of the sacks last night against Mississippi State were on him. But you would rather have a sack than throw an interception 100%. You have James Burnap, who's been a dynamic weapon as a punter, and the defense has done a great job, specifically over the last 2 games. This is the defense that we knew that they were capable of being. Running the football, I was looking at the statistics, and it's kind of a 3-headed monster with Milroe, Jace, and Roydell Williams. I mean, last night they ran for a net total of 193 yards. Milroe has 69. Jace has 63. Roydell has 44. They ran for 3 touchdowns. So, and the receivers and the tight ends, there's a couple guys who have stood out. But look, it doesn't have to be an overwhelming amount of statistics. But Jalen Milroe certainly trending upward and doing a good job not forcing the football. What else you got, Robert?
Yeah, the whole team is starting to trend upward, which again is a good thing. The way college football is structured right now, it's similar to the NFL, where you don't want to count a team out because of an early loss. Mm-hmm. That's why I like the expanded playoff. That gives teams like Alabama this season a chance to play themselves back in when they stumble early, because the teams are getting more even. And the division between the number 10 team and the number 1 team is really slim. Mm-hmm. The gap is really slim. Mm-hmm. Anybody can win this, so you shouldn't be knocked out because you stumble early. And that's why I'm always for the expanded playoffs, especially with the structure of it is now with NIL and the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. And you watch Alabama, the defense is definitely getting. This season I'm ready to put them in the elite category. Mm-hmm. When you saw what they did to Ole Miss, and then you saw what Ole Miss did to LSU and Texas, they had their successes with them. But I would love to play that game again, and we see what happens on the next go round. So I think the defense has moved itself to elite status, and we're finally elite on one side of the ball, at least one side of the ball. It's been a while since we've been elite on at least one side of the ball, and we've finally got the defense back. So we have this elite defense, and we played mistake-free. Hopefully we get those penalties down. But the penalties were pretty good yesterday. You keep the penalties low and the mistakes low, then, things open up. But Saturday in the Kyle Field, Once again, I think that's the big game that decides if we can do this. If we beat Texas A&M and maybe even convincingly, then our chance of doing this jumps dramatically.
Robert, well, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for batting leadoff for us tonight, and we'll talk to you next time.
Hey, buddy. Catch you later.
Robert with a great call from Mobile, Alabama. And I think Robert's right. I mean, you win a game like this in a tough environment, and we'll get to our next callers in just a second. We got a 470, a 334, a 601, and a surprise caller batting in the 4 spot right now. That should be fun. Texas A&M riding a 3-game winning streak. Their only loss on the season is to Miami. But last week, or yesterday, when they did play Arkansas, I did watch that game. And the thing that I noticed about that game was Max Johnson did do a good job distributing the football. He did have 2 fumbles, but Anais Smith is a monster. I mean, the guy returned a punt. I think he had 72 yards receiving, so he's a very dynamic player. Everybody knows that they do have athletes, and in my opinion, and I want to hear about this inside the comment box, Jimbo Fisher, throughout his tenure at Texas A&M, and I'll jump to my calls in just a second. I just wanted to kind of throw this out there. I think this game would be kind of a redemption game for his coaching tenure at Texas A&M, because every single game against Alabama is so monumental. And I was looking at his overall record at Texas A&M, and in 2019 he was 9-4, then 8-5, 9-1. That 2020 team, maybe they could have made the playoffs. 2021 8-4, 2022 5-7, 2-6 in SEC play. So overall, for getting paid as much as he's being paid, he's only 25-18 in SEC play, and overall 43-22 with no playoff appearances. Now, a victory against Alabama, specific 2 in a row at home, I think keeps kind of the boosters at bay, so to speak. But if you're Texas A&M, you're like, hey, we want results. We're paying you this amount of money. You can do whatever you want in terms of NIL. Beat Alabama, and I think that's kind of his redemption game. I want to hear what you guys think inside the comment box. With that said, we go to our next caller with a 470, and let's start right now. Yeah, I appreciate you being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Andrew from Douglasville again. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
All right, man. Well, dang, I don't know where to begin, dude. We played a solid game yesterday, so I agree with what's it, Robert from Mobile?
Yeah.
I agree with him. Our defense is definitely elite. And like I said, the 17 points, I want to shut out, but I mean, heck, it's Mississippi State, they're a big offensive team. So what do? You know, I mean, we had 3 picks, 2 of them essentially being pick sixes. You know, we had who was it? Was it Chris Braswell? They got the pick 6. And then who was it who got the second pick?
So then you had that was Jahad Campbell, and then the third interception was by Caleb Downs.
And the Caleb Downs, yeah. So that was 3 picks, man. That's really good. And I don't even know how many sacks we got. We got a few sacks.
You had four sacks last night.
Yeah, 4 sacks and several QB pressure. So that's a solid defensive game. So definitely elite defense. And I think our offense played really good. I mean, we had 220-something yards on rushing, and then we had 164 through the air. So that's pretty impressive. That's almost 400 yards of offense at a night game in an SEC stadium. So that's on the road at that. So that's pretty impressive. And then so I think next week, man, A&M's a good team. They always have a lot of talent, man. So I could see it either being a blowout or a street fight, depending on which Alabama shows up. So the Alabama that played last night shows up. I think it's going to be I think we're going to beat them pretty good. But if we struggle a little bit, since it's going to be a close one. But I think Alabama definitely pulls it out, depending on how good we play or not. And like I said last night, though, man. Roydell Williams and Jason McClellan, they can run the football. And then Jalen Milroe's 70-yard touchdown, that was wow. That was, man, that may be a Heisman moment, man. I'm telling you, that was something else. And then our O-line, they gave him some time to throw the football. And then I was very impressed with how Jalen Milroe played as far as reading the defense and not forcing stuff. When he didn't see nothing, he used his legs, or I think he threw it away once or twice. I think. So just really good QB play by Jalen Milroe. He is really doing good each time steps on the field, man. Just keeps on improving. And I didn't give the ball over, which is huge. So as long as he keeps on playing like that, not forcing stuff, and just protects the football, man, I think we'll be all right, But that was really impressive. And then Will Riker, dude, just money. He had 4 field goal attempts last night and nailed all 4 of them. You can't get any better than that. So we need to keep Will Riker, man. Just man, what a guy. Man, I'm trying to think what else I got, man. Just what a game, what a great game. And then looking next week to Texas A&M, I think we need to keep the run game going. I want to see us pass, but I really want to see us run the football, That's what's going to win SEC games, is running the football on the ground, because it keeps our defense physical. Because in practice, I don't think a lot of people understand this. In practice, when our defense is going against a run-heavy offense, it makes the defense really physical. And that's why the defense has been so good this season so far, is because they're really physical, because they're going against a run-heavy offense in practice. So that's really huge, having a run-heavy offense in practice. And then, the defense makes the defense really physical. And then it's easy, covering. We got Cole-A, McKenzie, and Caleb Downs, and Terrion Arnold. Man, they can make those plays, man, and then they cover up those wideouts, man. So it's just really elite defense. So I think that defense is going to do really good next week on the road. And then as long as the offense plays decent, play like they did last night, man, we're gonna run through A&M hopefully. And then I think we got Arkansas after that, so that's a home game. So I think if we keep playing and improving each week, man, I think we're gonna run the gauntlet, and I think we're gonna be playing Georgia and laying up for the SEC championship. That's all I got for you tonight, Kyle. It's just roll tide, man, and what a game. So hopefully we keep on improving, man, and hopefully we'll be elite Alabama by the end of the season, man.
I appreciate the call in, man. Thank you very much, Andrew. Always good to hear from you. That was Andrew from Douglasville. And right now I have, as Andrew was talking about, his excitement about Jalen Milroe. And I want to show you guys a couple statistics, and I'll get to my next callers in just a second. We got a 334-601 and another caller inside the call queue. This is Jalen Milroe's passing grades through the first 4 games of the season. So 92.3 against Middle, then a 58.2 against Texas, against Ole Miss, 88.3, and against Mississippi State, 89.7. He has the highest overall Pro Football Focus grade out of any player on the offense this season, and he is throwing 69%. He has 6 touchdowns, and he has 3 interceptions, and he has over 800 yards passing on the season. I was talking with Coach Sean today, and you can watch that video on our YouTube channel, and one of the things that really stood out to me is we were talking about Caden Proctor and kind of the game that he had last night, and kind of the, just the overall growth that he has had over the last, 2 weeks. And here are his Pro Football Focus grades, and he's at left tackle as just a true freshman. Against Middle, 67.3. Against Texas, 36.7. That's probably one of the lowest grades that we've had. 51.6 against South Florida, and then saw some improvement against Ole Miss, 62.5. And then last night against Mississippi State, he had a grade of 79.5. So those are some promising numbers from left tackle Caden Proctor. Just wanted to kind of throw him a bone there, because I think when you look to the progress of some of these players and their trajectory, they're starting to go up. And I know Elijah Pritchett played last night as well. And, it'll be a little bit of time until we get an update on Terrence Ferguson. Coach Saban usually provides those type of updates on Monday. But regarding Caden, those are his grades on the screen. We go to our next caller, and it is a 334. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Man, this is Daniel again, Coach Flowers from Calera. I talked to you about a couple weeks ago.
I appreciate you calling in. You said Daniel, right?
Yeah, Daniel, yeah.
All right, man. Take it away, man. Welcome to the show.
My thing, like I said, I'm a coach too, man. I was on the Alabama group. We were talking about the improvement of the team. But, the coach, We have meetings on Sunday, and you kind of analyze the game. And I feel like for the defense to be called themselves an elite defense, you can't fall asleep during the game. You have to have consistency, fire. That's what I call it. It's times, a few drives in that game, the defense fell asleep. I mean, I saw the Mississippi State run up down the field on them. Yeah, a lot of folks get caught up. Oh, they caught an interception for a touchdown, or they caught an interception with downs. I look at the line of scrimmage. Was we consistent in the front seven? And at times, Mississippi State ran that football all over Alabama. They allowed to rid us dead in our mouth because they fell asleep. I know it's the SEC. People going to score points sometimes and stuff, but to be an elite defense, you got to have consistent fire. And I feel like in that game against Mississippi State, it took them a while to get that. I think it was gap assignment. I mean, I saw a few gap assignments missed when they was running the option, but two linebackers in the same gap. You have to be gap sound when you're playing teams like to run the read option, outside zone, the inside zone, but it wasn't there. And they gutted us a few times, like a couple. I think maybe 3 10-yard runs they had. I'm like, oh, Kurt, that's kind of crazy. That got A&M have better running backs and a better offensive line. Remember, Mississippi State, they still twirling from Mike Leach when he passed away. So they transitioned their offense. So their real rosters look kind of bad. But I just got to figure, I want to make sure Kool-Aid don't fall asleep over there. Because one of those running plays that quarterback ran for a touchdown, I think Saban was fussing at Terry on Arnold. Still been fussing at Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid didn't fill the gap. He was over there playing two in touch with the receiver, and he didn't cover his gap. I know he's the cornerback, but he's supposed to hold that contain. So my thing is, but Alabama is, it's a work in progress, and I hate to see that the receiver's not getting the football. Because recruits see that. As a coach, I see that like, okay, Miro threw 13 passes. Yeah, again, Bama's winning. The object of the game is to win. But in the long run, for recruits looking like, okay, Miro on for the ball 13 times. Jermaine Burton, I found out he was hurt. I got a good friend of mine. That's why Burton didn't play that much, because he actually was hurt. But I feel like Bama got to throw the football. I don't care if it's screens, flood passes. You got to keep the guys hungry, the guys happy too. Because you don't want to get into the A&M game where you have to throw the football. The receivers ain't usually catching the football in a tight game. And everybody like, oh, they dropping the ball a lot. But look at the last two games. Look at the game. They're not getting the football. Bama, I know they're still trying to like slowly walk Miro up. But it's time. Texas A&M this weekend, you're not going to be allowed to run that football on like that. They're a good football team as well.
Daniel,
so I feel like,
let me point out something to kind of build on what you're talking about. When you look to the receiving numbers right now, Isaiah Bond is the leading receiver on this team through 5 games. He has 12 receptions for 179 yards. He is followed by Jermaine Burton, who has 8 receptions for 189 yards. Amari Niblack has 8 receptions for 158. And then Kobe Prentice, I'm going to have to double check on this, but I don't think Kobe Prentice has caught a pass in the last 2 games. And then followed by that, it's Jace and Roydell, who each have 6 receptions. And then it's CJ Dupree, who has 5. Yeah. And these are some mind-blowing numbers right here, okay? You have Malik Benson, who only has 5 receptions. Kendrick Law only has 3. Jalen Hell has 3. And Ja'Cory Brooks has 2. So those are facts. Like so is Jalen Milroe improving as a quarterback week by week? Yes. The statistics are what the statistics are. Like these are the actual numbers for the receivers, right? Like is this team getting better? 100%. But to build on to your point, if you're a wide receiver and you're looking at Alabama's offense and how they predicate things. And a lot of this too, Coach, could be the fact that Tommy Rees likes the 12 personnel set. The 12 personnel set is using the 2 tight ends on the field. So you're starting to see more of CJ Dupree out there, and you're having to put Robbie Oots at that H position to help out in the backfield as an extra offensive lineman to add protection for Caden Proctor, who we just showed is improving a little bit, but still needs help with Tyler Booker on one side and Robbie Oots on the other. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, like, again, you said exactly what I said. People are like, oh, you've been a Debbie Downer couch fan. I'm like, I'm a coach. I've been coaching ball for 15 years. Sometimes those stats get hidden. People are like, oh, we just won a game. You should be happy. No. As a coach, if I'm playing against Alabama, I'm going to load their box up. I'm going to go man press on the outside. I'm going to send pressure at Miro. I'm going to must rush him for he got to stay in that pocket and throw the football. And Bama's going to be in trouble. because they can't throw the football. That is plain and simple. Arms of the receivers can get off the line of scrimmage because they didn't challenge yet. Now, I noticed in the Mississippi State game, they weren't getting open. Then you had the tight end, number 84, across the middle on the crossing route. If I'm any kind of coach, Bama will get that 2 straight games where they send a tight end on the delayed crossing route. They'll run the outside receiver off and back everybody up and then throw the tight end on the crossing route. I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to make Miro make tight outs, slant throws, hitches throws, and you can't tell they're going to be able to do it now because they haven't did it in the game. You can't say all of a sudden they're going to show up in the game and you going to all of a sudden start passing the ball. The receivers need the ball. Only you're going to get experience by getting the football.
Hey, Coach, so before you go, I have 5 questions for you, okay? I like to play 5 questions from time to time. So this is kind of just like rapid fire, okay?
Yeah.
You ready? So just give me like short answers on these. Okay, Alabama through the first 5 games of the season, biggest strength is?
The secondary.
Biggest weakness is?
Offensive line.
Who is this team's X factor?
Malachi Moore, number 13.
Watch out for?
Jalen Milroe. Michael Vick.
Yep. MVP so far through 5 games is?
Terrion Arnold.
Tearing on. Yeah, I like it. Those are some good answers. I'm gonna ask you guys when you guys call in. So you guys, that's a preview to the test. Hey, Coach, I appreciate you calling in from Claire. I like to chop up X's and O's, because sometimes it's just not the Jimmys and the Joes, man. Please call again next time. Save the number, and I appreciate the context.
I appreciate that, big dog.
All right, man. See ya. All right, Daniel calling in from Claire with a good call. I appreciate it. What's up, Chief? I see you inside the comment box. Roll Tide to you guys. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Kyle Henderson. Calling line is 205-850-1994. We got 2 calls in the call queue. We have 4 lines open tonight, so you guys can call, and you'll be on the line, and then I'll bring you guys on tonight. Alabama at Texas A&M, October 7th. Time is 2:30 p.m. Central Time. TV is CBS. Alabama favored by 7.5. Game is at College Station. Over 100,000 Aggie fans hoping that the Ags can pull it out. Texas A&M defeated Arkansas this past week behind a backup quarterback of Max Johnson, who ironically played at LSU in 2021 and played against Alabama in a game that Alabama won 20-14. So Alabama will see Max Johnson. It's a very good team. There's a lot of athletes on that team. It's going to be Alabama's most challenging game thus far since that Texas game. So you had Texas come here. Now you got to go to Texas A&M. It's going to be a very challenging environment against Jimbo Fisher, who's looking for kind of that quality win. And the SEC West is wide open. This is a marquee game. You got to go in just like you did this Mississippi State game, focusing on just this game, because as we've talked about, we're getting ready to go on a gauntlet of a schedule for Alabama. Behind Texas A&M, you have Arkansas, Tennessee, and then an open week, and then you take on LSU. With that said, we go right back to the phone lines with the 601. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
How's it going, Kyle? It's Jay from Pensacola.
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, Jay. Good evening, man. So what's on your mind after Alabama defeats Mississippi State 40-17?
You touched on it with the previous call with Coach. I like how they did the tight end formation in order to help the run out. I think that's a pure genius. Mm-hmm. And I like seeing that from Tom Rees. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, I do agree with the other call. I do feel like we need to have more wide receivers catch the ball. Mm-hmm. I know our running game is great. I like it. I even like the fact that Justin Hand got a chance to run in at least a little bit. And show people that he's very capable, but I do feel like we're not gonna be strictly be able to run the ball on Texas A&M. I seen how I watched that Texas A&M game and Arkansas game. They kind of stopped the run a lot. They had a few big runs, mm-hmm. but Texas A&M stopped the run, mm-hmm. and I feel like that's how Miami got them. Miami got them by throwing the ball over their head. Mm-hmm. But I like where our team's going, and I like the direction they're going.
What'd you think of the play of Jalen Milroe?
Now, I love the fact that when he didn't see a read, that he ran it. I love that. I love the progression. I feel like he should do it more. When he don't see he got anything down the field, take off running. Cause as you've seen, they can't catch him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching your 5 questions.
Well, let me just pull them up, and let me just pull them up, and I'll ask you. How about we do it that way?
Okay.
Let's do it proper. Okay, so people are freaking out about this inside the comment box. Okay, so Alabama is number 10 in the coaches poll. That's what I put in the headline, and they are number 11 in the AP. So does it matter? No. None of the rankings matter because none of it, matters to the playoffs or whatever. So I could change the headline and put them at number 11, but it's like number 11, number 10, doesn't matter. But that's kind of like where people think they are. And I would probably think that's fair. I'd probably maybe even, have them at 10 or 11, depending. So not to freak everyone out about, the whole 11 or 10. It's like one spot. All right, Jay. Yeah. So, Jay, let's do 5 questions. Okay. And, I have Coach Jimbo Fisher on the screen. This is, here's the graphic. Okay. So just keep it short, keep it simple, keep it concise. And here we go. Biggest strength of this team.
Will Riker.
I love that. That you're like so dead on with that.
He's money, man.
and game over. Jay from Pensacola wins the contest. All right. Biggest weakness.
Intermediate passes.
Ooh, I like that. I like how you kept it like you didn't go to like one player. You like kept it to like a specific item because you're right. Right now, that's probably the biggest weakness. Who is the X factor?
I'm going to say Jalen Milroe is a deep ball. That's because Jermaine Burton, Isaiah Bond, Martin Black, all of them caught the deep balls perfectly. So I would say in general, Jalen Milroe is deep ball.
Watch out for
Jacoby Prentice. I know he's been dormant, but that's my guy, man. And he's came in clutch a lot, and I like that.
Someone just said, David from Louisiana said the X Factor is Miss Terry. He might have beat you on that one.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Because
so
when she got on him, he got on them. I like that.
Yeah. And then, okay. And MVP so far is?
I'm going to say Dallas Turner.
Ooh, I love it, man. Jay, those are some good answers, man. I like the biggest strength and the MVP so far. Look, Dallas Turner playing at a very high level. I probably give it to, man, I don't know. I'll say my answer for the end of the show, but those are some good answers, Jay. I appreciate it. Hey, so look, like inside the comment box, the trolls don't really like bother me, but like Jackie Hell, like get the F out. Like I had to ban that one. It's just like bothering me. So look, if you want to be a moderator inside the comment box, let me know and I can make you a moderator. But like, it wasn't even troll. Those weren't even good trolls. You got to, follow Lane Kiffin. Like try to learn to get, that the trolling was weak.
Right.
I do like the answers. Okay. So real quick, when you look at this game against Texas A&M, what does Alabama have to do to continue this momentum? And we're on with Jay from Pensacola. Go ahead, man. Make your final point.
I feel like they had to eliminate. They didn't. How many penalties did they have against Mississippi State?
They had 6 penalties.
Okay, I was watching the game. I guess I wasn't paying attention. They did so good. To be honest, they did good to be all over the road. But like he said, Texas A&M is a different atmosphere, and they're gonna be looking for revenge from next year, and like you said, 2-peat. But I feel like the biggest thing they need to do is work on the snapping the ball, as you talked about
Oh my
before.
God!
The snapping of the ball is going to kill us if they don't get it right.
Thank you,
It's
Jay.
being loud, like you said. They're not gonna be able to clap. They're gonna be hear the clap. Seth McLaughlin did. Like, do we have another center besides him? Who's the backup center?
I mean, I guess Darren Dalcourt. So you could do. Yeah, no. But you know who else is a center is Terrence Ferguson. See, that was kind of my dream scenario, was to put T Ferg at center, and maybe kind of go from there. But because Seth and what's going on with this whole snapping thing, I get it. The kid is great. Run the damn ball. Love the philosophy. But I've never, and I was talking with Coach Sean today, I've never, ever seen this amount of bad snaps ever. No matter if it's like high school,
I agree.
Junior high, nothing. And this continues to be a problem. If there's someone out there, I guess, we could all do this collectively. And if someone was actually keeping stats, how many bad snaps have there been? Has there been over 10? There's been over 10.
It's been over 10.
I would think during the season there might be 4, in an entire season. So I mean, I don't know, but AJ, I gotta move to my next call, man. But I appreciate you calling in. Great call. I appreciate it. And facts, man. You had hit on some really good points, man. Call in next time, and I'll catch up with you soon.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good day. Roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide to you, man. All right, Jay from Pensacola. I mean, right? The snaps. I've just hit the thumbs up if you think the snaps need to improve on this video. Let's get them up. 227 in. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. 205-850-1994. Alabama and Texas A&M. October 7th. TV is CBS. Alabama favored by 7.5. I just double checked it. It's by Vegas Insider. So Alabama is favored by 7.5 going into College Station. You'd think that line would be a little bit tighter, but it is what it is. Here we go. Next caller, and we'll take it right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, Demetrius from North Carolina.
Hey, Demetrius, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been like an ostrich. Got my head in the dirt. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you came up for some air. What's your take after the first 5 games of the season?
Shout out to Kevin Steele. I mean, I don't hear his name getting called too much but I ain't gonna say the defense is elite, but it's trending. Yeah, cleaning up more stuff. It's trending upward, and I still have a question mark with the offensive coordinator. I don't know. I mean, and I'm happy that they ran the ball. I don't care if they ever pass the ball. If they can win every game by running the ball like this, hey, it is what it is. I mean, if that's what needs to be done to win the game, hey. And so, I see us trending upward if we can keep going this upward trajectory. The sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
I know other teams might be looking. I don't see. Hey, put all of them in a bag and draw names who's gonna win the national championship this year. I mean, if a couple things would have fell our way against Texas, would have won the game. But hey, I still trust Nick Saban in the process. A lot of people, I travel all over the country. I keep explaining to people, you wait till your school start winning, they start posting your coaches and start messing your program. See how far y'all get along.
Mm-hmm.
See how far y'all get. I mean, it's just inevitable. I mean, I really like to see Tommy Rees get more dynamic. But if he can't, and the run game is sufficient for us, hey. And as far as the receivers, I understand the receiver, but hey, they got to get open. I mean, you can't. You got to get open. But if you get open, hey, maybe the ball will come to you. But you ain't trying to get open because the same tendency for the last couple of years with the ball. ball ain't coming my way, so I really ain't gonna put no effort in. You might be the third read before Jalen Miro decided to take off. It might be wise for you to try to get open to help us out. So that's my take on it. I mean, it's a lot of football to be played, a lot of things be cleaned up. I mean, on both sides of the ball, but I am excited about the defense once again. I mean, cause Pete had me scratch my head, for the last.
Well, you saw how many points. You saw how many points that he had against LSU, right? And then, I mean, so look, I think that you hit on your best point, and we're on with Demetrius from North Carolina, is Kevin Steele or whoever's calling the defense, and the defense is playing inspired football. And I think, like Daniel from Calera, who's a coach, he called and he brought up some good points. And Coach Sean and I talked about this earlier today. Mississippi State found a way to run the football a little bit because they were gashing Alabama at times. And sometimes when your safety has the most tackles, it's not always the best thing. With that said, Jahad Campbell also had 12 tackles last night. Overall, the defense is playing really good football, specifically in the secondary. Demetrius, let me ask you these 5 questions before I move to my next caller. You ready? Just a rapid fire. Just give me a short, concise answer. You ready to go? Okay. Through the first 5 games of the season, what is the biggest strength of this team?
Secondary.
Biggest weakness of this team?
Offensive coordinator.
Oh, that could be a really big one. I like that. Okay, giving points for Demetrius on that one. Who is the X factor of this team?
Hoots, the tight end.
Robbie Hoots. Okay, yeah. I mean, look, I like the H-back, Robbie Hoots. Okay, watch out for
Caleb Downs to keep improving game by game.
Man, you know what? Caleb Downs was the highest ranked player on the defense for Alabama in this last game with a grade of 90.0, is the highest grade of any defensive player thus far, even surpassing Dallas Turner last week, who had a grade of 88. So a nice one on that. Okay, number 5, MVP so far is
Jalen Miro.
Jalen Miro. Yep.
Pretty much self-explanatory.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think at this point you got to go with either Milroe or Dallas Turner. Demetrius, I appreciate the call, man. It's good to hear from you again. We'll catch up with you next time.
All right, roll tide.
Roll tide to you, man. This is Demetrius out in North Carolina. We got a 706, a 615, and a 470 inside the call queue. My name is Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. What do you think? Biggest strength of this team? Go ahead and post it in the comment box. Biggest weakness? Who is your X factor? Watch out for and the MVP so far. I think we can create a poll inside the comment box. Biggest MVP. Let's just put 2 options. Let's put Jalen Milroe or Dallas Turner, and you know who else I want to slide in there. I want to slide in there Will Riker. All right, Toby just texted me, and Toby says this. This is going to be a new segment on our shows. We're gonna post up something that Toby has texted in. If you don't know me, if you don't know Toby, he's one of the biggest Alabama football fans in this entire planet. He lives in Leeds, Alabama, and I see Toby every single time before the home football games, and it's kind of become a tradition. Toby and I became really good friends, and Toby says this: all we need to do is roll out Jalen and send Dallas Turner up the middle at the defensive end. So, look, just as I was saying, the MVPs of this team so far are Jalen Milroe and Dallas Turner. Toby, good point. I think that when you get creative with Jalen Milroe and you don't necessarily try to control him, you rather unleash him. You let Jalen Milroe do his thing. And like I've been saying with the other callers, I feel that he's done a great job not forcing the football. And I think that the last interception that he threw against Ole Miss, that was a forced ball. And there's been a couple times where it caused frustration where you're like, get rid of the ball. But sometimes just eating up the sack is totally okay. And as I said earlier, special teams play has been phenomenal. James Burnham, that punt, they almost had 2 punts down within the 5, right? I thought Terry Arnold might have got that second punt, but they said he went into bounds for a touchback. Anyways, we go back to the phone lines with the 706, and we start right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Ray from Metro Atlanta. It's been a while since I spoke with you.
I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much, Ray. Welcome to the show. Happy October 1st. We are officially 30 days away from Nick Saban's 72nd birthday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and you know what? And that's a perfect segue for what I wanted to talk about. Because it just seems like once he gets back into his old ways of, chewing players out, that's when the players perform at their best. And then I've been waiting for him to do that, and it couldn't have came at a perfect time, because if you saw the first two drives, they struggled, and we saw the box snap, and we saw him taking sacks. That's the one thing that I wish that Jalen could work on a little bit better. When he knows that he's on the outside and he has the ability to get away from the pass rushers, and when they're bearing down on him, just throw the ball away. Just throw it away. There's no need to hold on to it. Throw it into the stands, but you're outside the tackle box. I think once he learns how to master that, then I think he'll be fine. I was pleasantly pleased with the performance of the team after those first two drives. They were very proficient, and it just proves that we do not have to throw the ball 30 or 40 times in order to be able to be an effective offense. I like the fact that we were able to lean on the other team. And when we did try to blitz, I saw that our blitz pickup protections were excellent. There were times that he was just standing there for like 5 or 6 seconds, and then he was able to scan through his progressions and everything else. So I thought that he did a pretty good job on that. My only concern about the game itself was when they started running on us, particularly the first drive after halftime. Yeah, I was angry about that because I just felt that how are these people able to run on us like that? Then I saw that there were linebackers that were out of position. They weren't filling gaps. They went back to, they weren't playing that gap integrity that they're known for. But once they were able to figure that out, I thought that they did pretty good. This was the same guy who a week before had threw for over 400 yards in South Carolina, and one wide receiver almost got 300 yards receiving. So they shut that down for the most part. So the one thing that I would like to say is that the SEC is wide open. Georgia's not impressive. You saw how Georgia struggled against Auburn, who can barely throw for 100 yards. So, and you knew that Auburn was going to run on you, but what did they do? They're able to run on you. So I'm not impressed with Georgia. And to be honest with you, I think Georgia is going to have an L before they get to the SEC championship. But all in all, it was a very pleasant game, and I was pleased, and this is something to build on.
On with Ray from Atlanta. Let me ask you, I've been asking everybody, I like to ask our callers kind of a 5 question, kind of, rapid fire, if you will. So you ready? We got just short, concise answers. I'll throw them your way, and we'll start right now. Biggest strength thus far?
Okay, biggest strength thus far for me, I'm going to have to give you one for offense and defense, and I'll be real brief. On offense, I think it's our running game. On defense, I think it's our secondary and our linebackers.
Yeah, I think everybody has said, or at least 3 out of our 4 callers who I've asked this question to have said the secondary. And the secondary has been great. I mean, Terran Arnold, the play, has continued to impress. Malachi, I know, and look, I know he got chewed out last night, and rightfully so. But collectively, throughout these first 5 games, that secondary group is very, very talented. Okay, biggest weakness thus far?
Okay, I would say biggest weakness is the offensive line. And defense, not too many weaknesses on defense, but if there was one, I would say our ability sometimes to our run defense when we get confused with eye candy. So I don't know what category that will fall under, but I would say that. So, really that would fall with the defensive line, though. But the defensive line is not bad. I'm just saying, just a nitpick. But yeah.
Would you say that the offensive line is trending upwards?
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah, most definitely, especially after these last two games. I noticed that once we stopped trying to throw the ball 30 times, you really start to, and when they started utilizing Milroe's skill set a little better, and that was something that that I felt that Tommy Rees wasn't doing a very good job of doing, but I think Saban was probably chewing him out too up in the booth. But I think all of that was just predicated on the fact that you got to utilize this guy's skill set. You see what he's capable of. Do some things very similar to how Lamar Jackson was used at Louisville and how Tim Tebow was used at Florida. Utilize his skill set. That's not to say he can't read defenses. He can obviously read defenses. He wouldn't be a quarterback, I don't think, right? So utilize his skill set to best complement him, and to let's find out what he likes to do best instead of trying to make him into something that he's not. Because we wouldn't ask Tom Brady to be a RPO style quarterback, right? You know why? That's not what he's good at. You know, not to say he wouldn't try it though, but yeah. So, but yes, they have progressed. The offensive line has definitely progressed, especially in the second half of this game. They did such a good job in picking up the blitz. I only think one guy really got through in the second half, and then that was the play that Jalen missed with Jalen Hale. That guy had to leap, and then had he not have affected Jalen's throw like that, that would have been a touchdown all the way. So, yeah. So I thought that they did pretty good. Yeah. So that is a weakness, but they are training.
Moving forward, who is this team's X factor so far?
I would say the X factor is one of the guys that has not played yet, but I think that he's going to be a big factor later on, and that is Justice Haynes. By seeing what he did last night in the limited action, did you see the one spin move where he kept his balance and then he kept charging? That guy is strong. He's big, strong. Kind of reminds me of Mark Ingram and Josh Jacobs. He is definitely a guy that they need to get on the field more, and I think you're going to start seeing him. I think he's going to be an X factor. On defense, an X factor, I would say, Blackshire. I think Blackshire is a guy that's proven time and time again that when called upon, that he can make the play at any given time, and he's always around the ball. That's what I like about this linebacker core. They're always around the ball. Even if they're out of position, they find a way to get to the ball. So, yes. So those are my answers for that.
Okay. So watch out for, and I guess you already said Justice Haynes, but who else we got?
I would say watch out for Bond. Bond is like a ticking time bomb, I believe, because he is a guy. You saw what he did with the one opportunity that he got, and he almost took it to the house. I think when they starting off at the beginning of the season, he was starting to get some targets, but we know what happened with South Florida, and then we know what happened with Ole Miss. So I think now Jalen's going to get the confidence he needs to move forward, and I think they're going to start letting Jalen get loose, and maybe he might throw a few more passes. And when that happens, just get ready for Bond. Bond's going to take the top off of anybody's defense. He is just ultra fast. And then just let me tell you this quick little story about Bond. I remember 2 years ago, my high school is the same high school that Elijah Pritchett came from, Carver of Columbus. Okay. And as I was waiting for our team to play, they were going to play in the state championship against Benedictine. But before that, Buford played, which is where Isaiah Bond was at. And I remember how he shredded whoever they were playing in the state championship. He ran through them he just ran through them just like butter through a knife. And then I was just telling my friends, I'm so thankful he's coming to BAMA. So so that was just a good story about him. But yeah, the guy is just super athletic, super fast. He's got to be at least a 4.3 guy. I wonder who would win a track meet between him and Milroe. So I'm just anxious to know.
All right. So last question, then we got to move to my next caller. Make this one short and sweet. MVP so far is?
Yep. Oh, right now MVP so far is Milroe. Yeah. I think Milroe's the guy, and we're just going to build through him.
Hey, Ray, well, I appreciate you calling in, man. Please call in again, and we'll catch up with you next time.
All right, boss. Take care.
All right, we got a 615, a 470, and a 708 inside the call queue. Get to you guys in just a second. Kyle Henderson at BAMA Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. These are our Week 6 questions. Biggest strength of this team. Biggest weakness. Who is the X factor on this team? Watch out for MVP so far is. You hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday night. Tomorrow or on Monday, we have Coach Saban as well as Jalen Milroe and Dallas Turner at the podium. And we'll also have Jimbo Fisher. So it will be an action-packed day right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Alabama at Texas A&M on Saturday. TV is 2:30 p.m. TV is CBS. Alabama favored by 7.5. What'd you think about that 8 p.m. kickoff? I was getting a little bit sleepy there at the end of the game, right? I mean, it's just like, okay, because we hadn't had an 8 p.m. kick just yet. So I'm happy to see that this one's at 2:30 and that Arkansas one, I'm hoping that game the following week will be at 6 p.m. So glad that you guys made it back from Starkville if you went Stark Vegas. Been there a couple times, and it's not a difficult drive, but at that hour coming back, whatever. But Miss Terry, certainly the MVP, got things going for Alabama clearly, and I love how Coach Saban's so matter of fact. He was like, "I did what I was supposed to do." So Miss Terry pulled him aside, said, "Look, guys aren't playing well. Get after them," and that's what he did. I love the soundbite. It's so great. We go back to the phone lines with the 615. Hey, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson of Bama Football. Welcome to the show. Take it away. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Kyle, hey, what's going on, man? This is David from Nashville.
Yeah, I appreciate it, David. Good to hear from you again, man. Welcome to the show, and hope you're having a good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, man, you too. So I have a question. I think that part of the reason, aside from what you said, just of Miss Terry getting on to him, but I think part of the reason why Nick Saban was just on top of the players so much yesterday, and you can tell me if you agree, is because I think Nick Saban's looking around all of college football and he's thinking what the rest of us are thinking, which is there is, ironically, maybe other than Texas, there is no team that really looks scary. I mean, I feel like I feel like this whole thing is wide open. Nick Saban is looking around going, this is crazy. We have all this talent. And so help me, if we waste all our talent on a year where no one is really dominant and just taking the bull by the horn. And I think he realizes that he has a great opportunity in front of him and he doesn't want to blow it. And I think that's a huge part of why he's on top of everybody like he is.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity. I mean, we're talking about it yesterday in the post-game show and even today with Coach Sean, kind of looking at the college football top 5. Let me ask everyone inside the comment box, will you guys please post your top 5 right now in college football? Who are your top 5 college football teams? I think that, there's going to be a couple different answers. I mean, Georgia hasn't lost in quite some time, but then again, they were down to Auburn 10-0, and then it was 10-10, and Brock Bowers had to kind of put it in four-wheel drive to get them out of Jordan-Hare Stadium. That was an impressive performance, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that Georgia won. Brock Bowers won.
100%.
That guy's incredible.
100%. I mean, he certainly did an incredible job. He had 2 one-handed catches back to back. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. So credit to him. And Carson Beck did, I guess a good job getting him the football. Some of the passes were kind of, a little bit off target, whatever. I mean, they did a good job commanding that game. And Jordan-Hare is a difficult place to play, regardless of who you are, regardless of who the coach is. It's just a tough place to play. They play tough defense. Texas was able to beat Kansas. Where do you have Texas in your top 5, David?
Dude, no joke. I would seriously put Texas at number 1 right now.
Right? I think a lot. I think a lot of people would. Yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, I think that's completely fair. I think probably Texas, and then would you put Michigan number 2, or would you put Georgia number 2, or would you put somebody else?
The problem is it's hard to really say. Georgia and Michigan, they're in the same boat. It's hard to say. You really don't know how good they are because of who they've played. I mean, Michigan especially. But Georgia is the same thing. I don't know about you. I was as conflicted yesterday as I could possibly be because, man, I wanted Georgia to lose, but that meant rooting for Auburn. Mm-hmm. And I had this deep internal struggle going on the whole time where I was like, do I cheer? Do I not cheer? I just watched the game and it was hard. I was like torn, but I don't know. I think if I had to pick, I would probably put Georgia at 2, maybe Michigan at 3. I will admit I haven't watched Washington this year, but from everything I've heard, Washington is just destroying.
Well, I think that was the offensive coordinator that Coach Saban wanted, and then he came over here to Tuscaloosa and
I think so, right?
Turned him down, right? By the way, the line is confusing right now. So some people are saying that Alabama is favored by 3. This is literally a screenshot from Vegas Insider, and it says to me Alabama by 7.5. So if you guys have somewhere else that we're getting the lines, because that does seem confusing, I would think it'd be much tighter than 7.5. I'd take that all day long, if you're betting on this game. But if you have another place where it's 3, okay. So we got Michigan. We've talked about them. We talked about Texas, Georgia. I guess Ohio State with their good win over Sam Hartman. That's kind of like Sam Hartman is over Notre Dame, right? Like he's kind of Brock Bowers is taking Georgia, and Sam Hartman is kind of Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I think Ohio State also, because the fact that Ohio State is not just, it's the way that Ohio State is winning. They're winning with their defense, almost more so than their offense, which is really almost kind of out of character for them. So with their wide receiver group, if they get their offense clicking, they're going to be crazy tough.
Let me ask you these 5 burning questions that we're asking everybody real quick. Fly through them. Biggest strength of this team so far?
Kicking game.
Yeah, Will Reichert. I mean, he's just completely clutch. Those days of just, praying.
And a punter.
Oh, James Burnap is, that dude is money.
Yeah, both of them, I'd say.
I know. Yeah. Besides that, somebody did point out last night that I guess like the return defense was, off kilter or whatever. And yeah, I get that. How about, did you guys see the tackle by Connor Talty, the backup kicker?
Dude, that's the best.
Oh,
I was like,
yes.
That guy earned so much mad respect because next year, he was thinking, man, going into next year,
yeah,
I'm gonna put this play up everywhere I go.
And it was good. It was a good form tackle too, because the way that he wrapped up, he had his head wrapped up. He put his head on the right side of the opponent and kind of drove through. So Connor Talty, apparently he can tackle. Will Reichert's first tackle. Here's some trivia for you guys. Okay, when was Will Reichert's only tackle last year? Who was it against? Sound off in the comment box.
I should know.
Do you know, David? I actually asked Will Reichert about this.
I don't remember. I can see it, and I don't remember. No.
Okay. All right. Biggest weakness of this team?
I'm going to say, offensive line is obvious, but honestly, they're getting better. I'm going to say interior pass rush. Yeah.
Okay. Interior pass rush. Oh, this is also a good point regarding
they're getting better too.
Regarding the special teams, they also have a blocked punt. Now, nice question. Everything. So yeah, they also did block a punt. So that's again the special teams play. Yeah. That's Coach Hutzler who's leading that special teams along with Coach Saban. Okay, who is this team's X factor?
Jalen Hale. That's pretty.
So
I'd say Jalen Hale.
Jalen Hale, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's only a freshman, okay, and watch out for.
I don't know, and maybe I'm getting these backward. Maybe I'd put them in reverse order. I don't know, but I'm gonna honestly say Caden Proctor, and I'll tell you why. I feel like the kid every game. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's getting better, and I feel like he's getting like significantly better.
Yeah.
And if he starts to put it all together, I know I'm creating like an army of freshmen. And I'm not doing it deliberately, but I'm just saying, I just feel like Caden Proctor, I think we're going to kind of sleep on him and be like, oh yeah, he whatever. And then I think come November, he's just going to be just smoking people. And I think he's going to put it together. That's just a hunch. I could be wrong.
I really like that because can you imagine if Caden Proctor, who by the way had a fantastic pass blocking grade this last game, best all season, if he continues to perform very well, that's one less problem you have to worry about. And if Seth starts snapping the ball and things start working out, then you have your offensive line, then you're ready to roll, right? Like those are the two things that certainly need to improve. But somebody in the comment box just said the X factor is Jermaine Burton. If you can get him the football frequently enough, because he's playing at such a high level. I know he's a little bit.
He has been playing really well. Props to Jermaine Burton.
Yeah.
I was not a Jermaine Burton fan last year.
He didn't have any. He didn't have a lot of fans.
No, but you know what? That kid deserves enormous credit. He has come out this year. He clearly worked hard. He's playing so much better, and he seems like he just goes out, he does the work, he's playing great. I think he deserves a lot of credit.
Okay, and your last question is, the MVP thus far is?
Man, I'll tell you, here's how I think about it. If you told me that Jalen Milroe couldn't play, I would be nervous. I'd feel really bad about it. I'm a big supporter of Jalen Milroe. I think he's doing an awesome job. But there's a part of me that would go, well, I mean, Ty can throw the ball well, or I have a hunch that if Dylan Lonergan ever came in that game, I have nothing to base this on, but I feel like he would be incredible. But if you told me that Tyler Booker was going to be out, I'd be nervous. Mm-hmm. If you told me that Terry and Arnold couldn't play, I would be really nervous. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I kind of look at it in reverse. I go, if you told me this person couldn't play, who would make me the most nervous? And maybe I should say Jalen Milroe. Maybe I'm just trying to be different. Maybe I'm being contrarian, but I don't know. I think I would say, I look at the USF game and I'm like, well, how did that go for us when Booker didn't play?
Yeah.
And that could be for other factors, but I also just look at Terry and Arnold. I go, if you take out Kool-Aid or Terry and Arnold, either one of those guys, who's on the other side, and how nervous would I be?
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%. I mean, you're right. Think about who didn't play against South Florida. Tyler Booker and Jalen Milroe. Just saying, right? Hey, David, I appreciate the call from Nashville, man. Please call again. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, man. Great to talk to you.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. We got a 470, a 708, and a 773 inside the call queue. This is a great point right here regarding Jermaine Burton. He went from being this glorified transfer from Georgia to a legitimate 1 to 2 wide receiver. I mean, he stuck with it, kept his head down, kept coming to the media availabilities, and the guy is playing at a very high level. And I think he is kind of banged up. We'll get an update from Coach Saban tomorrow on Monday regarding his status and kind of where things are. I think, like Chiefs is saying inside the comment box, his ankle might have been rolled up on. Again, like, I never comment on injuries because you just don't know. Things change so fast, they're fluid, and I just rather wait for Coach Saban just to give the update, which he usually does. He gives you a straightforward answer. I mean, if there's any college coach, like Coach Saban will tell you about the injuries. Like, he'll pretty much, like, just think about it. Like on Wednesday, he was asked about Deontay Lawson and Terrence Ferguson. He said they didn't practice on that Wednesday, so that kind of gives you an indication that they weren't going to go on Saturday. Neither of those guys played. We go back to the phone lines. A 470. We start right now. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? Big fan. This is Chance. I live in Georgia, but I'm from Alabama. I'm an Alabama native.
Hey, well, I appreciate you calling in. Could you turn down the volume in the background, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my bad.
No, I got you. It's all good. Yeah, no problem.
I guess you was pretty happy to see LSU get beat. I know I was. I was so happy to see that because I just can't stand Brian Kelly.
Yeah, for whatever reason, like he really pisses people off, right? Like I don't know if like his look or like some of those social media posts when he was kind of like rotating with the recruit, there was just something, and he doesn't seem like I don't know, it's just something about him that just makes your blood boil, right? Am I wrong? Like he might be like a really nice guy. I don't know, but like. He just kind of makes me mad. It's just like a weird thing. So yeah, I don't mind seeing LSU go down. Now look, but with that said, their quarterback Jaden Daniels, that kid can put the ball anywhere he wants to. And Brian Edwards, the wide receiver that Alabama really wanted to come. I know that was going to be tough because he's from Louisiana. Man, what a dynamic duo that is. I mean, those guys connected. It's a dangerous duo. I mean, they're certainly going to be tough to prepare for, and they're going to present some good challenges for Alabama's two corners. But yeah, I mean, that was a shootout. I guess, you could see it coming considering you got Pete Golding, you got Brian Kelly, all these characters. But anyways, yeah, good to see LSU, lose. And it kind of gives you a perspective of how good Alabama's defense is playing right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because Ole Miss was leading SEC in points scored, I believe, or something like that. I know they were way up there.
Yeah, 52 points a game.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels is not the same quarterback he was last year, where he was just tucking and running. I mean, he's definitely improved a lot, and he's got a lot of dangerous receivers. But yeah, one more thing about Brian Kelly. You can see him throughout the whole game, just marching up and down the sideline in the ear of the ref about everything. It's so aggravating to watch. I can't stand that dude. Yeah. But, I was a little disappointed about the game with Mississippi State. I mean, we walked away with a W, so you can't be too bummed out. I guess that it's just something this is going to come with time. But imagine if Bryce had stayed around for one more season and how these receivers have developed the way they have. Because they were so young last season. I mean, Isaiah Bond was a freshman. Kobe Prince was a freshman. We didn't have Malik Benson. Burton was trying to work out what he could work out. I mean, we were young, but everybody was building us up like we were just going to take the title from Georgia. But we were in a rebuilding year in my mind.
If Bryce because look, Bryce is, he's getting acclimated to the NFL. I don't think he's having like his best showing just yet, but if Bryce is leading this team,
right?
I mean, if the offensive line, that's the thing. Like, I guess he had a better offensive line at this point. Whatever. I mean, he made things look so much better than what they were. I mean, but his downfield passing ability just improved year over year, right? Like last season, what Bryce was able to do from a deep ball perspective. Plus, he's just made plays. I mean, the guy was so confident. Cool. I mean, Bryce had it all, and if he was able to connect with some of these wide receivers,
my favorite one was when he scrambled away at that LSU game, and he just looked to the sideline with a big old grin because it was like he was totally smothered. And he just looked at him like, that's what I do. It was funny. But and think about this, and I know you're not a Dallencourt fan, and neither am I. But when he was center, and whenever he did play center, was there ever a bad snap from him? I don't think there ever was. I mean, that is killing us, and that is killing me because, I mean, I love Seth. I love I got on the train with the whole run the damn ball, but, I mean, it's just like bad snaps plague that guy. It's just, we're in week 5. We're in October, and already he's still having bad snaps.
You're right, though. I don't think thinking about Darian Dalcourt, I don't think we did see a bad snap with him. Maybe one. I don't know. It seems we're getting to the point where, and someone said in the comment box that it improved as the game went forward. All I can see is like the first half is just like even when Jalen Milroe kind of looks to the side and he just snapped the ball. So there must be some sort of miscommunication. It's got to be a question for Coach Saban on Monday because it's something that is clearly evident. It's a weakness of this team. Honestly, it's like snapping the ball is the most critical thing to any offense, right? It's like the keys to the ignition.
Right. And them cowbells ain't nothing to what the 12th man is going to be like. Like, it is insane there. Like, that place is rocking. So if he gets, maybe that's what they should do. Maybe they should just put Dallencourt in there for a drive or two and just see, maybe that will wake him up. I don't know. I mean, if I was Saban, I would put him just at practice. That's all he would do all week is snap balls, just constantly snapping balls.
Yeah, it'd be like him, but Will Reichard would over there be like kicking, and then you see Seth just snapping. Be like, these are our two individual workers. Because like if you played football, you always look at the so when everyone who's played football, you know how it is. You always see the kicker over there, and you're just like, that bastard, he is not doing anything. He's just kicking. He has one job.
That dude's got it so good. All he's got to do is run laps and kick the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. His jersey's perfectly clean. You're just like, come on, man. So now you have your center over there.
Rocker's a different breed, man. Like, his first tackle was against Auburn, wasn't it? At home last season.
Thank you. Yes, you answered the trivia question. Yes, 100%. Yep.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, that's my guy, man. He's going to be missed, but Burnup's going to step right in and just, which I haven't seen him kick a field goal yet, so I don't know. I don't know if Burnup has he? Has Burnup ever kicked a field goal?
No, I mean, I think Talty will be the kicker. So you'll have, Burnup.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's the punter. And then Talty is the kicker, and he'll do field goals. So,
yeah, you see how dependable Rocker is. You never even see that other guy. I never even know he existed.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's how he kind of had to set his like kicker name is make a tackle. All right, so you got Texas A&M riding a 3-game win streak. Their only loss to Miami. They're 4-1 on the season. Max Johnson is the quarterback. He is the backup. Faced Alabama back in 2021 when he was back at LSU. Their X factor clearly is Anais Smith. The guy is an absolute monster. With that said, Alabama was able to shut down Mississippi State's talented wide receiver this past weekend. It's a tough road game, as you said, playing in College Station in front of 105,000 or whatever it is. Last time Alabama was there, they were able to beat Alabama. In my opinion, this is Jimbo Fisher's kind of redemption opportunity. If he can beat Alabama, then he can tell the boosters, hey, look, I've beaten Nick Saban twice. Let me do my thing. If he loses this game, I think because somebody asked him during SEC Media Days, they were like, do you feel that you're on the hot seat? Seriously, somebody asked him that. And he was like, well, he answered so fast. He speaks so fast. I feel terrible for the people who have to transcribe that because he's just like a auctioneer. With that said, I mean, he has to win.
Because he wants to get out in front of the camera. He wants to get away from any questions because he knows he's in a sinking ship.
And you're right. And I think like a lot of people have been talking about, Coach Prime and doing things, where he would potentially go if he was to ever lose Colorado. How about Texas A&M? Could you imagine if Coach Prime was able to go to Texas A&M, back to Texas, recruit all that talent with kind of all the nuances that come with Coach Prime? I mean, they could, and the thing is, with NIL and the amount of money that Texas A&M, they could give him like $1 billion, whatever, So he's got to win this game. Anyways, your biggest questions or concerns going into this game against College Station. We're on with Chance from Georgia.
Get that snapping, taken care of. That's just, I mean, that's got to be at the top of my list. Because that was embarrassing when Milroe was looking to the sideline and got smacked in the chest with the football. Yeah. That was just
fix the snaps.
And I think our receivers are doing great. They're getting separation. Mm-hmm. The offensive line has got to do their job. I mean, the running backs are doing great. I mean, before last, Roy Dale and Jace both had 100 yards rushing in 2 games, back to back. So I like that. Our tight ends more play. And I think Milroe just needs to get out of his head a little bit. I think he's standing there and he's trying to be that pocket passer that they want him to be. And that in some way you have to be. But it just seemed like when he got that one touchdown, the very first one, you just see it. He just looked over his head and he was like, "To hell with it, I'm going." I think that's what they need to put in his head. Like, dude, just go.
Yeah.
Don't second guess it. Don't question it. Just go. Forget it. Don't worry about it. I'd rather you, because all them sacks he's got, especially because Texas, Mississippi State ain't got no front, not really, and they were getting to him because he was just back there eating up clock, eating up time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, offensive line. And running game stay strong. And Mill Road, get out of your head.
Hey, Chance, I appreciate it. This is your first time calling, right?
Yeah, man. Like I said, a huge fan. I watch you. I watch Stephen Smith at Touchdown Alabama.
Yeah.
He always calls me Lance, even though I told him I'm Chance 100 times.
No, there's a lot of people in this space that are doing a great job. Everyone's like, don't you don't like the competition? Or no. I respect the grind, because I see it. There's a lot of people who are working. They're consistent. They're doing a really good job. They're good at their crafts. Right. They all have different strengths. I think they're doing a great job. And whatever. So I'm glad you called in. Save the number. Please subscribe.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch up with you next time.
I will. All right. Hey, one more thing, though, before I go, though. You mentioned Deion Sanders, and I'm a huge fan, have been all my life. But with him, I don't think he's going to be able to stay healthy, because he's got a lot of problems. He's lost 2 or 3 toes, and he just had to he was in the hospital back right there at fall camp. I mean, I hate that for him, but I'm just saying, if he can stay healthy, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to. Anyway, he has troubles with that stuff. But like I said, huge fan. I'm so glad I got to talk to you, man. I'll call you again. Roll Tide.
Okay. All right. Take it easy, buddy. All right. That was Chance calling in from Georgia. Okay. Hey, fam, this is a subscribe live count right here. So we're at 92,000. If we can get to 100,000, that would be amazing. So just hit the subscribe button. You can. I think that I have it programmed to where you can see the subscriber count actually change. If you're not a subscriber, will someone please subscribe just so we can see if that goes from 92,947 to 92,948. Maybe we can see it live on screen. Okay, we go back to the phone lines, and it's a 708, and we start right now. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? This is JC.
Hey, what's up, JC?
From Chicago.
JC from Chicago. I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
I've been to Chicago many times, and every single time I go to Chicago, I have the most amazing time. I honestly,
cool,
and what's amazing is I've had really good food up there, and I love the sports vibe. It's such an amazing sports culture. And you guys have everything up there. Yeah. And I didn't grow up in a major city. So I wish I would have grown up, loving the Cubs or the White Sox or the Blackhawks or something like that. So kind of envious of you. And, but anyways, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. And you, if we had some better teams, we'd probably be in a lot better shape. But with that being said, I think all of us that are Alabama fans, I started off this college season pretty much saying that I didn't really see a team that was just going to barnstorm through college football, kind of like your traditional Georgias and old Alabama teams. I kind of figured that a lot of these guys were going to end up with 1, maybe 2 losses as this thing was kind of coming down, and it's kind of proven to be that because the transfer portal has kind of balanced out a lot of those teams, have provided them with some talent that they might not have been able to recruit, and some of that. And I think you're starting to see some of that talent for some of these teams manifest themselves. You look at a lot of the top teams, they were searching for a quarterback like Alabama was. And, I guess my big problem with Alabama was, and this was probably, I felt kind of bad for Jalen Milroe. He kind of came at a time where we had some really great quarterbacks, and they were all really good passing quarterbacks and really good quarterbacks that could read progressions and different things like that, and that wasn't his strong suit. And I think they spent a whole lot of time this summer and probably in the fall really doing that, and that wasn't this kid's strong suit. This kid's strong suit was RPO. If you got a good offensive coordinator, you layer those routes over in certain areas, run your RPO and let him see if somebody is open. If not, let him take off and run. That's what he does best. He's a Michael Vick-ish in college type of quarterback. So, I think they hurt his progression a little bit. because I think early on he was real. If you look at him yesterday and you look at the game that he played against Texas, he looked robotic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was kind of like, okay, look over here, look over there. When you have an RPO quarterback, those are instinctive quarterbacks. You gotta allow them to play the way their mind plays. You know, it's kind of like playing a video game with them. And I think they took a little bit of that instinct away from him by saying, stay in this pocket, look for one. Mm-hmm. One ain't open, look for two. Mm-hmm. Two ain't open, look for three. And he's not that kind of quarterback. And I don't know that he'll ever be that kind of quarterback. But in college football, I don't necessarily know that you have to be that kind of quarterback.
They made a lot of
really
Go ahead. Continue, JC.
No. Go ahead.
I was just noticing yesterday that they're starting to make a lot more comparisons from Jalen Milroe to Michael Vick. And they even did that on the
college.
Yeah, so kind of funny story. We're on with JC from Chicago. So yesterday, this is the first game that I actually didn't go to. So I was watching the game on TV, right? So I was kind of having like FOMO, right? Because I'm used to going to the game and all this stuff. So I'm watching the game, and I sat on my recliner and I looked at the game, and it's on ESPN, and there was like 14 minutes left between LSU and Ole Miss, and I was like, shit. I was like, I'm gonna miss like the first 8 minutes of the game. What am I gonna do? So I saw that they're gonna put it on ESPN News, and I'm sure, did this happen to you guys too out there? So I looked, yes, so I went
we were all scrambling around trying to find
exactly.
out what was going on.
So I go and I try to find my remote, and of course, like I couldn't find my remote because the dog had chewed it up, and I find my remote, and I go to ESPN News, and I find ESPN News. And I turn it on, and it was these dogs who were racing. And did you see that? So it was crazy. So I was like, damn it. I was like, and these dogs, I don't know what sport this was. And I didn't even know that this made it on TV. But these dogs were flying. I'm telling you, there was this one black dog. I don't know what type of dog this was, but they would run across. They were running like, I don't know, it looked like 80 yards to me. And they would hit the back of this like blackboard, and then they would fly the other way. And somebody inside the comment, and somebody on Twitter was like, I'm glad we're not playing these dogs because they're fast AF. And I was like, so anyways, but the crazy thing, yes, Vijay, the dogs were flying. And the other thing was, I didn't know that there was like announcing, like how do you get into like announcing for like dogs racing, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't know that was the thing. Anyways, I'm sorry, JC. I just had to say it because like it was crazy.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
Because it took us a while to find the game yesterday up here. So we were scrambling. We was like, okay, this game is still on, and we were scrambling around. And I got to agree with the other caller. I was watching that Georgia-Auburn game yesterday, and I'm really having a hard time rooting for Auburn, but I absolutely hate Georgia too, and I'd rather Georgia lose with that cupcake schedule that they have,
100%.
As opposed to. So I'm sitting here and almost regurgitating in my own mouth, just cheering for Auburn, and I'm like, but. You know, it kind of is what it is. I think we are about where we. If in most people's mind, I think we're probably about where we were anticipated to be, and now we're at the point that now it's just a matter of us getting better each week. Mm-hmm. And I think if we get better each week, you see that Jalen is getting better each week, mm-hmm. and I think the reason he's getting better each week is they're saying, okay, you're not Bryce Young, and you're not Tua, and you're not Mac Jones. Play football like Jalen Milroe plays football, and mm-hmm. we're going to develop and design plays to play that's going to help you play that kind of football, and mm-hmm. you got a running game behind you. Our offensive line, I think our offensive line is really decent at run blocking, and they're getting better at pass blocking. And I think each week, if we get better, if we make each other competitive in practice, I think we'll be fine toward down the end. I don't necessarily know what our record will look like, but I think we'll be competitive going forward because I think they've kind of taken the reins off of Milroe and just said, okay, kid, we just need you to play ball, baby. Just go play ball. And I think when he plays like that, you can even say it. He was impromptu yesterday. He was doing some things that I don't think he would have done in week 2 because he was too busy trying to be a drop back passer, and he's not a drop back passer.
We have
by any stretch.
The next games we're on with JC from Chicago. Texas A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee, an open week, and then you take on LSU in Kentucky. Hey, JC, I got to move to my next caller. I really appreciate you calling in. Huge fan of Chicago, like I said. Huge fan of Common. I mean, who doesn't love Common, man? Grew up on him, and that when I think back, man, that Resurrection album. It still hits, man. It's actually one of my alarms, believe it or not. Yeah. So, I used to love her. Right? Like Pete Rock and CL Smooth, like. Whew.
Yeah. No. A great artist from here. I love him. Love him both on record and on TV. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, well, JC, call in anytime. I appreciate you, and I'll catch up with you next time.
Hey, thank you, babe. Appreciate you.
Yep. See ya. All right, 773 and a 716. I'll get you guys next. Here's Alabama's upcoming schedule. So you got Texas A&M. Then you got the Hogs and Sam Pittman, KJ Jefferson. You got Tennessee and the Vols, another talented quarterback over there. Then you have an open week as Coach Saban celebrates his birthday. Sometimes, you know what? He'll sneak in a sneaky round of golf. And I think there was one of those times where he hit a hole-in-one around his birthday. That was kind of like an off-the-record type thing. I think he has 2 hole-in-ones. Then you have LSU and Brian Kelly. LSU just dropped a game to Ole Miss, and then you take on Kentucky. I'll zoom out as Kentucky is actually playing some pretty good football. And then you have Chattanooga, and then you take on Auburn. So that should be a pretty good game. Kentucky and Georgia, I think, was it last year that it was a pretty competitive game, or was it the year before? Whatever it was. I mean, Kentucky's, they did what they wanted to against Florida. Kyle Henderson and BAMA football on YouTube. And Kentucky beat Florida. I'm sorry. Maybe I misspoke on that, but that was a good win for Kentucky. They're undefeated, taking on Georgia. We go back to the phone lines. It's a 773. We start right now. Hey, thank you very much for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Mike, another person from Chicago. How's it going?
Oh, what's up, Mike? We back in Chicago. We're staying in Chicago. I appreciate it. Someone said that there is a lot of fans, like Alabama fans in the area. Is that particularly true?
I'm not sure, since we don't really have a good, college base. U of I is not real good. Northwestern is up and down.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we have is Notre Dame. So we spread across the nation when it comes to college fans.
Let me ask you this before we jump into this, Mike. We're on with Mike from Chicago. Notre Dame, pretender or contender?
I would say contender. Definitely playing good defense, controlling the ball. Definitely got a quarterback that can actually manage the game and smart, talented. So definitely a contender. Definitely a contender.
Okay.
They played Ohio State real well. Stayed in the game. They got a home friend that when they play at home, they got 80,000. It's going to be crazy. So you need that when you have your home game. So they have all the facilities needed to enhance the athletes. So they're definitely going to be contender.
Okay. Just wanted to ask you, because I've been asking that about Notre Dame and about Florida State as of late, just kind of asking, the people in the area or fans, what's kind of the pulse of those two programs, because there's 3 programs that people want to be good again. One is Notre Dame. Another is Florida State. I would probably lump in, like, they want probably that taste of old Colorado, to be great again. And they also want Nebraska to be good. And that's just, not the case. I mean, Nebraska is just not there. So, but anyways, okay. So we're heading into week 6. Alabama is about to travel to take on Texas A&M. They're coming off a victory over Mississippi State where they won 40-17. They still haven't played 4 complete quarters of play, but they're getting closer to. Everything seems to be trending upward. There's a couple nitpicking items that we're going after because that's what we do when you follow the team so precisely. But what's on your mind? And welcome to the show.
Well, what's on my mind is, why is Tommy Rees getting a pass? I mean, we're always talking about what Milroe can't do. But why is Tommy Rees get? Bill O'Brien was like one of the top scorers his 2 years here. I mean, he was averaging like 40 points a game, number one in the second. We destroyed Bill O'Brien. So I'm giving you an example. Okay, so if you're looking at Georgia-Auburn game, if I'm an Auburn defensive coordinator, who am I trying to stop? Trying to stop Brock Bowers, right?
100%.
I'm trying to make sure he doesn't get the ball. But somehow or another, he was schemed to get the ball. He got the ball and actually won the game. We don't see Tommy Rees scheming any type of plays, getting people where they need the ball at. I mean, a lot of this, I think, falls on Tommy Rees. He is not the guy that we assumed he was going to be or whatever. Or so like I say, whatever is happening right now, he is not scheming open receivers. I mean, we keep talking about what Milroe can't do. I just think that they're not being schemed open. I think, you have an offensive coordinator that has to call plays that enhance the talent which is around him, and he is just not doing that. And I just do not understand. He's getting the pass, and then for most of this is what Milroe can't do. And I understand that he's lacking in certain things, but in certain situations, you just got to assist him in saying, okay, I have plays that will get this person open. If Brock, got open, and as I said, if I'm an Auburn defensive coordinator, I'm doubling him, I'm tripling him, because I know where they're going with the ball. But somehow or another, there was an ability to get him the ball in Georgia to win the game, and that's what we need in our offensive coordinator. What do you think about that?
The offensive coordinator, since I've been here, has been interesting to follow, and it seems like it's trending in the wrong direction at this current point in time. Because it went from Lane Kiffin, and then I got here right as Lane Kiffin left. And so I witnessed Brian DeBall kind of come in, and he had used the New England Patriots passing tree. And that's when you started to see Alabama's offense start to kind of evolve into, a more balanced kind of these dynamic wide receivers started to get here. And then after Brian DeBall left, then you had Mike Locksley. And by that time, you had, kind of the keys of the Ferrari. I mean, it was like these wide receivers were here, and you had these quarterbacks that were able to distribute the football to these guys. So it was just like as sexy as the offense as you want. There was even times where the offense was being criticized because they were scoring too fast. Remember that? It was like an under 2 minute drive. There was like a touchdown of a drive of a minute 13. You're like, geez, the defense is like running back onto the field. Like, thanks. Then you got to the Bill O'Brien days. Steve Sarkisian, who I think is the best offensive coordinator that's been here, as well as the quarterback developer. And there were some other guys behind the scenes that were adding to that. So you had A.J. Milwee, who was Steve Sarkisian's guy, and then Alec Mortensen, who was like the quarterback whisperer. Those guys are all gone. And then you have Bill O'Brien, and nobody liked Bill O'Brien because of there must be a lot of Texan fans, or I don't know what it was, but nobody liked him at all. He comes over and he has Bryce Young, and people feel that, they just didn't seem to blend with him. But then I saw recently that people have been kind of sending out tweets that's like, I miss you, babe. And it's a picture of Bill O'Brien. Because,
totally agree.
Yeah, because you're just like, maybe things weren't that bad after all. Maybe we could have went to offensive. Maybe we could have went to offensive coordinator counseling, with Bill O'Brien.
Right. But even if you look at the championship game in 2020 when Sark was here, okay, in a half, Devontae Smith got the ball like 14 times. I mean, again, I'm pretty sure Ohio State said, hey, we got to stop the Heisman Trophy candidate from getting the ball. But somehow or another, Sark was able to figure out schemes, motions, putting them in different places to get him the ball. So a lot of this relies on the offensive coordinator being able to, be creative in their play calling and getting them the ball. And we're not seeing none of that in the program. Like, we keep calling Jalen Milroe an RPO quarterback. How is it an RPO quarterback when he hasn't even thrown an RPO? Do you remember last year when we played Texas A&M? He threw the RPO to Burton, and Burton scampered for like 4. I mean, hit him on the mark for 40 yards, touchdown. He had 3 touchdown passes. We're not talking about short touchdowns, but we're talking about shots. The one where he had the crossing route to who was that, number 7, right across.
Ja'Cory Brooks
on the mark. He had those two fumbles. No pocket presence was bad. Outside of those 2, he played a good game. I mean, people also forget that we missed 2 field goals. Chase fumbled. So it wasn't all on why the game was closest because of those two fumbles. There was other things that happened within that game. But Tommy Rees is not living up to the things that was I was expecting. I mean, even when Tommy Rees was at Notre Dame, somehow or another he was able to figure out how to get Merritt, the top tight end, the ball. It's just, why isn't it somehow or another here he's not getting people the ball or creating schemes? I don't know if it's maybe Nick Saban that is putting the kibosh on some of the plays he wants to call. I don't know what it is. But to keep saying Miro can't, a lot of this falls on, to me, the OC. I mean, if you look at Hugh Freeze, I would take Miro over 5 of the quarterbacks that Hugh Freeze has right now. But somehow or another, Hugh Freeze is figuring out a way to use those quarterbacks to get them yardage, to complete passes. Somehow or another, our OC cannot do anything, and it's like I don't get it. And Miro is not a bad passer. I mean, if you were talking about earlier that they were talking about how he compares to Michael Vick and how he can just flip the ball and the strength of his arm and different things like that. And Tommy Rees is supposed to be this quarterback developer. Well, develop the quarterback. Sometimes I'm feeling, is he sabotaging? Is he upset that Tyler Buckner didn't play? I mean, it's like, what's going on? I mean, sometimes, I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Sure.
But it's just like the stagnant of the offense, and you just said the game was at 8:00. So by the time I got to the Alabama game, I think I watched about 8-9 games. And somehow or another, if you look at Colorado, they're able to scheme open and hit receivers who they want to be involved in the game. USC is somehow or another scheming open people who are wide open. I mean, all these teams can't be playing against defenses just have total busts. And, it's somehow or another you have plays, you have formations, you move people in a manner in which you get them open. And we've seen that with many of the offensive coordinators that came through Alabama. Somehow, and as I said, everybody was on the bandwagon of get rid of Bill O'Brien. This is a man that won a Super Bowl. I mean, so he wasn't. And as I said, his time here, he got Bryce to a Heisman. He was in the 2 years was it 2 years or 3 years he was here? He was number 1 in scoring in the SEC, averaging something like 40 points a game. And now we get Tommy Rees, and everybody was talking about how Tommy Rees is going to do X, Tommy Rees is going to do Y, and Tommy Rees hasn't doing anything. And I think some of the play calling can assist in the offensive line. That if you know people are rushing and they're about to blitz, then screens. We wanted jet sweeps, we wanted screens, we wanted slants, we wanted all these things when Bill O'Brien was here. Bill O'Brien goes, we get Tommy Rees, and somehow or another everybody's now stopped calling for the jet sweeps, the screens, the RPOs, all the things that we wanted Bill O'Brien to do. So I just don't understand why there's a big silence when it comes to Tommy Rees.
You know what? I think, and I got to move to my next call, and we're on with Mike from Chicago. But
yes, I get it. Hey,
hold on. Yeah, I'll answer on the other line. I appreciate you calling in and calling again, Mike, because I think you bring up a good context. I'm gonna hit on this point, and then I'll move to my next caller. Mike,
all right, you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, Mike. The thing about it is, here at Alabama, the reason that you don't necessarily get to hear from the OC or the DC because you don't get to talk to them. You don't get to ask them any type of questions after the game. In fact, you only have 2 opportunities to talk to the OC and DC when you cover Alabama. That's at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. So everything kind of falls under Coach Saban and the players. It's not the same case that every university is different depending on like who you want to talk to. For example, at Florida State, I know the staff that covers Florida State, and they get to talk to everybody, the running backs coach, the wide receivers, the offensive line, the OC, everybody. Here, we just don't get to do that. So with that said, I think when you look to Alabama's offense, last night I did like there was some sort of a jet sweep, but it was called to Amari Niblack, and he looked pretty good running the football. So maybe we're starting to see a little bit more creativity. There was a time that Jalen Milroe did roll out, and he didn't force a pass, and he was able to hook up with the wide receiver downfield. It looked good. So Tommy Rees, I think he should be criticized. I think that he does have the weapons, and he does have, most importantly, the quarterback to do some different things. But as you guys are saying in the comment box as well, Alabama's offense did score 33 points last night. So it is trending upwards, right? Where Alabama's offense isn't getting worse, they're getting better, but it's just still not the standard. And I think Bill O'Brien is probably a better OC than Tommy Rees, and I think that clearly Steve Sarkisian was the pinnacle of the Alabama OCs, and that's just kind of the way it is. So can they be more creative going forward with the weapons that they have? And we talked about this earlier with the wide receivers not getting the football, using more 12 personnel. It's a completely different offense. I know it's Alabama's offense, but it is different than what we've seen in the past. We go back to the phone lines with a 716. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Kyle. You're on with Q from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, what's up? What's up, Q? How you doing, man? I appreciate you calling in. We're going from New York, and we took an airplane, and now we are in Brooklyn. We got Alabama football fans all over, man. What's on your mind, man? So Alabama now 4-1 on the season, about to head to College Station, man. What's on your mind, Q? Good to hear from you, by the way. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I can't complain. I just wanted to let you know you're talking to a person from the city where the best pizza's from. You know what I'm saying?
No, I would. So I need to go. So next time I go to New York, I'm going to Brooklyn. Period. And by the way, Q, I have to tell you something. So, like your voice, it reminds me of one of my best friend had the same voice. He was from Orocovis, Puerto Rico. And unfortunately, this past year he passed away. So like hearing your voice, it's crazy because you guys have the same exact voice, man. So I'm like tripping out. And I know we've talked. Me and you, Q, we've been talking for what? How long? Like 2-3 years now.
3 years now,
right? Yeah, 3 years because we've been doing the call-in show for like 4 years. So it's good to hear you. I haven't had the pizza up in Brooklyn yet, but I will when I go back. What's on your mind, man? As Alabama turns the page to Texas A&M.
First and foremost, the last caller who addressed the issue with Tommy Rees, I think that I'm going to second that argument in regards to Tommy Rees because I feel like the play calling is too vanilla, and I think Saban is in his ear because you could see last night during the game when Saban was going off. He couldn't say anything. He was on the phone. He had his hand. He does this thing where, when he is frustrated, you see it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't know what to do, where he rubs his head and he's on the phone. He's rubbing his head. His head is down. I think that he's too overwhelmed with Alabama. Mm-hmm. Like, Alabama is too big of a job for him. Mm-hmm. But I think that he needs to play to, when you have a quarterback, you got to play to your quarterback's strength. Mm-hmm. And I think that our play calling is too vanilla. Teams know what's coming, and they're going to gear up. When we play a team like Mississippi, and the cowbells, yes, the atmosphere is loud. And the defense against our offense, their defensive line can't compete with our offensive line. Even the commentators said it yesterday. We have the average of our offensive line are over 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. So the thing that I'm having an issue with Tommy Rees is that the play calling is too vanilla. We go first down, run the play. We'll lose 10 yards, and he'll run a play. We'll go get a penalty, push us back, and then the first thing he does on a 1st and 15 or 1st and 20 is run the ball again. Why on earth would you do that back-to-back plays? We're too vanilla. The system is too dry. And then when we go against teams that has a big front, that can compete with our offensive line, what are we going to do next? These are the teams that we're supposed to work. Teams like Mississippi State, we're supposed to work on things that we need to get better. I think that we need to get better in the passing game. Mm-hmm. The short passes, the long 15 yards plus passing game that we need to work on. The deep balls, making Milroe roll out to right, throw the ball on the right. He did it a couple times, yes, but I think we need to we should have continued doing that, getting the passing going. Mm-hmm. I mean, he finished with about 100 or something, 200 passing yards. We're used to quarterbacks that we've had from Mac Jones, Bryce Young, Tua Tagovailoa. They're having 300, 400 passing yards. We need to work Milroe to get better at his passing. Not only that deep ball, he's good at that. Work on the things he needs to get better. Reading the teams that we've beaten, yes, we should have worked on those things. Losing to Texas, I think people saying that Texas is a top 5 team. I don't even think so, because if you look at their schedule, the only big team that they played was Alabama. And they didn't really beat Alabama. Alabama we beat ourselves. So, and Michigan, I think Michigan is a choker. Michigan chokes every year when they get to the college semifinals. They always choke. I think teams, their track record don't speak for themselves. Right? To think that Alabama is not a top 10 team or a top 5 team in this country is ridiculous. And I think that our schedule compared to Georgia, I mean, Kirby Smart, you took our blueprint and you ran with it, and then you don't even give credit when credit is due. When you see your father, Nick Saban, you're supposed to bow down and greet him. You see what Kiffin does. Kiffin, I'm serious. I mean, he's supposed to bow down and kiss his hand, because you took our blueprint, you ran with it, and then you're eating off your father, and you don't even give thanks to your father. Every year he's supposed to be thanking us. Thank you, Alabama. Thank you, Alabama. Because of you, I'm here. Because you, my team plays this well. But to come to Texas A&M, you already said it. They pay to play. All those plays that they have there, they're paid, and that's why they have a good. Their front line on the defensive line is going to be solid. They're going to be hungry. That 105,000 fans in that stadium, 12-man stadium, it's going to be loud. And to think that we're just going to run the ball on that type of team, I highly doubt it. And I think that Tommy Rees needs to put in plays that's going to passing plays. We need to pass the ball consistently. We can't run the ball twice and then throw the ball once and then run the ball twice. And look, how long can Jace McCullough and Rodell Williams keep it up? We're only using 2 running backs right now. We have running backs that hasn't touched the field yet, but we seem to not get them no touches during the games that like Mississippi State. And you expect them, when God forbid Jace or Rodell Williams go down, to step up and come in and play. And do what? I think that's where we need to focus on things that we need to get better. Teams like Mississippi State, we should have worked on the passing. I think that, okay, we scored 21. You knew we were going to win, but I think we needed to work on things we need to get better at, and I think we didn't do that. And I think Saban needs to cool out of getting in his ear, let the OC do when he had Sark, he let Sark do what he needed to do, and he saw what it did. Lane Kiffin. He gave Lane Kiffin the keys to change the way we play football, from this run to a passing concept, to slowly progression to what Sark did with full passing, little bit of running. Then we had Bill O'Brien. He was I agree with the last caller, iffy play caller. I'm not really pleased at what Bill O'Brien did. But Tommy Rees, man, we just finished 4 games, and I'm not really sold on Tommy. I'm not. Sorry.
On with Q from Brooklyn. I think, Q, before I move on to my next call, I think the biggest thing that I want to ask the viewers that are watching tonight, do you guys feel that Tommy Rees is overwhelmed at this level? Honestly, because, I mean, it seems like maybe he just kind of shows his emotions, but it seems like every time they're like, and here's first-year offensive coordinator Tommy Rees up in the press box, and he's just like has his hand, and he's just like rubbing his head. Do you think that he's too overwhelmed? Do you agree with Q about, kind of the lack of production or the creativity? I want to sound off, you guys to sound off in the comment box. Hey, Q, before I run to my next caller, man, end the show how you do. And before you do that, I am really happy to hear from you. Thank you for your continued support. It's always great to hear from you. And when I get to Brooklyn, man, I'm definitely hitting you up to have some pizza spots that I got to check out. But end the show or end your call how you do, please.
Give me a shout. Yes, sir. I mean, first and foremost, I want to thank you, Kyle, for having me on. But first and foremost, I want to say God bless America. God bless you, Kyle. God bless me. God bless the fans of Alabama football. God bless the former and incoming president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. God bless me. God bless you. God bless this country. You have a good one and roll tide.
All right. Roll tide to you, Q. All right. Q, he's been a long time caller. I love his context. And that's how he ends every show. That's how he does it. Or that's how he ends every call. So I appreciate it. We got a 412, a 256, and an 832 inside the call queue. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. My name is Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Thank you for calling in. Let me know where you're calling in from. Or let me know where you guys are watching from inside the comment box. It's always great to see where everybody is calling in from and watching from, most importantly. So we go back to the phone lines, and it's a 412. Hey, thanks for being patient.
Kyle,
Let's do it proper. Welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. My name's Rick from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right. Did you say Rick?
Rick, yes.
Okay. All right. We're making this nice little track from Chicago. Now we're going to Brooklyn, and now we're going to PA. So I appreciate you joining the show.
Yeah.
And welcome on in. Where you want to take it?
Thank you. Well, I just want to say I'm glad Q is safe from the floods up there in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I didn't ask him about that, but I mean, my goodness, it looked like it was going to be underwater by this time today, right? I mean, surely that wasn't fake news. I mean, geez, it was like, how much water was up there? Man, Q, I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, though, for bringing that up, because when I saw that yesterday, I couldn't believe it. On with Rick from Pittsburgh, man. So what's on your mind, Rick?
Yeah. So talking about being underwater, and you know, I don't think that Tommy is necessarily underwater.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem to me like it seems like some of the things that we do on offense are really counterintuitive to the people that are playing. You know, we've got the fastest guy on the field at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And here we have everybody close in with a couple of tight ends, and one of the tight ends is not on the left side protecting the quarterback. And I need you to tell me, because I'm not a deep knowledge of football guy. But when you bring everybody in, you know, and you have only a couple wide receivers out there in the slot or wide receiver, you got 80% of the defense within 5 yards of the quarterback, basically. And I don't understand that kind of, you know, why aren't we spreading out the defense to be able to let the quarterback be able to run instead of getting sacked all the time with the people being so close to him?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's frustrating because I know he came from Notre Dame, and there was a big deal about getting all these tight ends, and that's great, and they're starting to produce. But Jalen's not a guy that you know, they're not teaching him to go through the progressions very well, I don't think, because though Mississippi State seemed to have a lesser secondary in the other games, he's got eyes on the guy he's throwing to all the time, it seems, and he's not reading progressions, I don't think, as well as some of the other guys at quarterback. But anyway, I need your help. I need somebody to tell me why this is happening. Because I don't understand it, and you know.
Well, I think
because I think they're getting better.
Yeah. So I think what's happening here is we might be comparing, and think about Jalen Milroe. You come in after basically 4 quarterbacks who are starting in the NFL, right? Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Tua and Bryce, right? So those are the standards of the Alabama Crimson Tide football fan over the past whatever. So, and all of those quarterbacks, besides Jalen Hurts, they were able to run RPOs. I mean, nobody did it better than Tua. It was incredible how he was able to do it. Mac Jones was super efficient in the way that he commanded the offense. Jalen Hurts had his own way, and then Bryce was a complete magician and kind of the complete package that can do it all. And I think we might...
And they needed a magician because the O-line wasn't as good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he was kind of covering up some holes that we're starting to see, right? Yeah. So
I think Bama Nation was at fault for getting on Bill O'Brien because they forgot that we didn't have the O-line.
and what's happening, and what's happening is we might be trying to make Jalen, or thinking that he's a quarterback that he just isn't, that he's not. So what I'm saying is he's a different style of quarterback, and that's completely fine. And he doesn't need to be Tua, Mac, or whoever. He just needs to be himself. And I think that with letting him, run his style of football and building the offense around him, he's going to be a very capable quarterback that can win games. Look, the stats don't matter. 10 to 12, you take that 1,000,000%, right? The game 17 to 21 against Ole Miss, you take that 1,000,000%. And the way he was able to run the football for a 53-yard touchdown, you take that. He's a different style of quarterback. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. Over the last 2 games, he's played pretty well. The only bad throw that he had was that interception against Ole Miss. But besides that, I mean, look at his numbers. 69%. He's graded out at 90% on Pro Football Focus. And he's doing better week by week. This is going to be his toughest test since Texas. So I guess Coach Saban called that the midterm. I don't know what you call this one, but this is certainly another. This is probably the first SEC type midterm test, right? Because you had these two kind of quizzes versus Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Now you take another test against Texas A&M. If he's able to continue to show an upward trajectory against Texas A&M, I think Alabama wins the West, to be honest. I think if he has a stellar game against Texas A&M, I mean, this is the team to beat in the West. So this is a really big game for Jalen Milroe specifically. He's already beat Texas A&M. The past doesn't dictate the future. He is on an upward trajectory. And if Tommy Rees can, maybe he just needs to settle in too. He's like 30 years old, 31 years old. Can you imagine being put in that position? Look, he understands the schematics of it. We've heard him speak before. He has, such an athletic quarterback. So maybe it's just kind of a timing thing. Look, we can be critical of him, and that's right to be, because I don't think the offense has been what we wanted it to be around specifically a quarterback like Milroe. But I do see things trending upward. What else you got for me, Rick?
That's it. I just think they need to spread our offense out so that we spread the defense out and then move. Have Jalen on the move, Yeah. Because once he's on a move, he could hit somebody, a lot easier, or run a lot easier if he's not boxed in. Because you got your fastest guy and you're boxing him in the backfield, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. But anyway, I appreciate it, Cal. Thanks for having me on. I know you got a lot more intelligent people about football there.
No. It's I appreciate the call. Call in anytime, Rick. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Bye.
All right. We got a 256-832 and a 731 inside the call queue. We continue to move it with the 256. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Greg from Athens, Alabama.
Hey, Greg. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Go ahead, man. Take it away.
Hey, well, first of all, let me just say I enjoy your show. I like listening to your comments and everybody else. So it's a great, I'm a fan of your show. I just like to just comment that, Texas A&M, yes, they're good. But you know what? We beat them last year with Milroe. I think people forget it. And he turned the ball. He fumbled twice. We had a lot of turnovers that game, and we still won. And they've still got basically the same team they had last year. And basically we have pretty much the same team, except we don't have Bryce, but he didn't play anyway. I think our defense is better than last year's defense. So I feel, even going out there, if he plays like he's played the last 2 games, and I really believe we've got to start taking some shots downfield. If that's his best opportunity, and, we need to turn him loose, let him go. But I'm like the rest of the callers. Tommy Rees is really, I think he's overwhelmed. You see him in the box, he's about to pull his hair out. I feel sorry for the guy because I'm not sure if he's ever had, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know if he's had a quarterback like Milroe, but he's had to design RPOs and the screen game and, or maybe, our analysts, a lot of those guys, the Dooleys and the coach from Arizona, the Cardinals, the NFL, all of our analysts, I wonder how much they really know if they had a cat like Milroe, because, he's so talented. I just can't believe we're not running him more. More and more and more, because, once he gets going, you can't stop him. He's going to outrun everybody. If our wide receivers would block better for him, he would do even better.
Greg, you bring up a great point. But who would run him and who would do a great job utilizing his skill set? Lane Kiffin. Look what he does with Jackson
exactly.
Dart.
I mean,
if Lane Kiffin was the
I know.
offensive coordinator this year with Jalen Milroe, oh my goodness! Like,
oh my God,
like look what he's doing with Jackson Dart.
Exactly. Well, see, when I watched Ole Miss play against us, and I'm a big fan of Lane's, play caller, not so much as a head coach, but I was watching what they were doing against us, all those sweeps and those screen passes, and I'm like, why in the world do we not do that for Milroe? He's got a cannon.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me he could catch the ball in shotgun and whip it out to a wide receiver and have somebody just make one block, they make one miss.
Mm-hmm.
Like he used to do. We could go side to side and wear their defense out. I think Jalen is more effective when we go 5 out, or when we go 4, when we have 4 wide receivers,
mm-hmm.
maybe one tight end, or we got a block, somebody, if they just pick up the blitz, give him enough time. And but I still, everybody's like, it's all gloom and doom. And, we may not play that well against A&M, but I know we beat the same team.
Yeah.
With Milroe last year, he fumbled twice. We had 4 or 5 turnovers in that game, and we still won. So I feel pretty good about it. And maybe I'm just a homer, but if our offensive line, it's going to be the whole key is, can we run against their front seven? If we can just get enough yards to stay honest. I mean, he looked so good passing, I thought the other night, Saturday night, I'm like, why are we only passed it 12 times?
Mm-hmm.
I got aggravated when we'd run it 2 times in a row. We'd make 4 yards, lose 2, and though it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and long all the time. And used to, excuse me, when we had Bryce and Mac, 3rd and 10 is like 3rd and 2. 3rd and 15 with those guys with wide receivers. And we've got good wide receivers. That's what's killing me. We've got 6 or 7 really good guys.
Yeah.
And we just don't throw the ball, or we don't design things so they're wide open. But what Lane does is he does all this motion. He always confuses the secondary. That's what you want to do. You want to confuse them when there's 2 guys, picks up 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a bust. Mm-hmm. And we don't – ours is so simple, or maybe we have to be. I don't know. The defense doesn't ever look confused when we're playing them. They never look confused. Nobody's just wide open. Like when Lane or Sark was calling plays, we'd be throwing bombs and nobody'd be 20 yards around because the way they moved and dictated, the defense got confused. They jumped something.
You know what?
You
bring up a really good point with this team. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really see a lot of motion at all with this team. Right?
None. The only guy that goes in motion is the tight end.
That's it.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It's the tight end. It's not the wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I mean, with Milroe, look, he doesn't even have to step. He flicks it, catch it, be like a shortstop, turn it a double play. And it's like Bryce, catch it and get it out to a wide receiver. He throws smoke. They could catch it, a block, boom, we're gone. Mm-hmm. That's just like running. It's almost like a mini air raid when you just kick it out there. They make a little block, you make somebody miss, you're getting 5 and 6 yards. We don't have to run it up. And then, of course, you can run it between the tackles a little bit here and there, keep them honest. But, I'm not a football coach, but I think I've got a lot more creativity, more imagination. Because when we watch all these other teams like Washington, oh my Lord, we watch Washington and what we could have had with that guy, or but that's what Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator, and I know that everybody knows what we know. You've got to design things from Milroe. That is your job, but you're plain and simple. You're not doing it. You're just not doing it. And that's just the bottom line. Not good enough. Because I think Milroe could be I believe, honestly, he could throw for 250 and run for 150 every game, at least. Yeah. At least. Mm-hmm. The guy's a beast. Mm-hmm. He's better than the Arkansas quarterback. He's better than the Florida quarterback last year. I know he's in the NFL, but, he's better than all those guys because he's a better runner than they are, and he's not a bad passer. Mm-hmm. He's just not. It's just things aren't simple enough or designed where it's just easy pitch and catch. It's just, and I think he just looks to me. He did second half. He looked a little more loose. I was telling my son, I was watching him, man, when he runs, he looks so stiff. He never makes a move. And then finally on that one touchdown, he put his foot in the ground and 2 guys just fell over. He got that touchdown. So I think he's starting to getting warmed up, to running the ball to where he can feel like he can make some moves. And I thought, just passing game too, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy is a beast, and we're not even using him design-wise to make it easier for him. He could just be blowing up.
I think you bring up some really good points. And number one, about the motion. I mean, that's just like I don't see much motion from this team. I mean, I say this every single time I run a show. Like, I watch the 49ers and Shanahan is a genius. He's a genius. Like, if you saw what Christian McCaffrey did today and how he was utilized, and guess who else got the football? Brandon Ayuk, and so did Deebo Samuel, and so did George Kittle. And these guys are motioning all over. They even motion Juszczyk, who's a fullback, kind of like similar to Robbie Oots. Probably, I mean, that would be a really good comparison. So you're not seeing it. And then William says inside the comment box, he's like, I don't think Tommy Rees wants to be anywhere near Coach Saban during the game, which could probably be 100%. Did you see Trent Dilfer was burying his assistants yesterday, and that's kind of and then people were getting mad, and they're like, you can't yell at people. It's like, it's football. It's like that it inspires people. I don't think he's doing that every single time, but sometimes people need a good kick in the what. You saw what it did for Alabama's team, right? I mean,
I'm glad that
if Saban doesn't blow up on the team, we might be like in a 17-17 overtime game still in Starkville.
Yeah. I'm glad Miss Terry gave him permission because you can tell it's been different because he's held back a lot of times. There's a lot of games I was like, I cannot believe he has not thrown his headset, blowed up, because we were playing so terrible. I think he just said, you know what, this team's just going to have to grow up, and I'm just going to have to. They're just going to have to take it. I mean, and they did. They responded. When and honestly, to be honest with you, Kyle, my biggest pet peeve of our whole team is not just Tommy Rees. It's our center. Can we not 100%. Get a good snap? I mean, he is killing us. It's going to cost us a game. I mean, and that's one of. And I'm going to tell you something else. That's another problem that Milroe has. It's not his fault. The ball gets snapped at his ankles. So what happens? Your eyes go down, and by the time you come back up, there's things that's already happened. You're not even gonna, you done lost a second of trying to read your defense to get your reads, or it's a fastball and he has to jump, and grab it almost like a wide receiver. So I'm like, I just don't understand why we don't get that fixed in practice. I'm like, or we don't have another center that can absolutely snap it like right where in his hands. Because he needs every millisecond that he needs to look at the defense, and he's having to. Honestly, I mean, if it was you or I, when we're getting ready to snap the ball, I'm worried about where the ball's going, not where the defense is.
Greg, I got to run to my next caller, man, but I appreciate you trading me some offensive philosophy back and forth dialogue. Call again next time because I do like a lot of. I do like a lot of the points that you brought up. We'll continue to track, the motions and be hypercritical of this team that is trending upwards. But that's what we do, when you're dialed in. So I appreciate the call, and we'll talk next time, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, we got an 832, a 731, and an 804 inside the call queue. We go with the 832, and we'll just dive right into it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Mike from Austin, Texas.
Mike, what's up? I appreciate you calling in. Texas Longhorns also continue to trend upwards, beat Kansas. I know you're in the territory. So what's on your mind as Alabama heads back to Texas or heads to Texas for the first time this season to take on the Aggies?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough game for Alabama because how the Aggies are not even in the top 25, I do not know. I do think they're a top 25 team, and them not being in the top 25, that just shows me the SEC bias is what it shows me. They've only lost one game at Miami, and they've had some good victories other than that. So it's going to be a pretty tough game for Alabama. But I just want to say one thing. That previous caller, with all due respect, I disagree with some of the things what he said.
Okay.
Like, first of all, I don't think Tommy Rees is over his head. It was a good call. I mean, it was a good call. But I don't think Tommy Rees is over his head. The dude came from Notre Dame. It's not like he came from, some high school. So he's familiar with big-time football. we're only 4 or 5 games into the season. What's taken this team a little bit long was time to find their identity. They had, they tested out their quarterbacks in action in the game, and they settled on Jalen Milroe. But I think the biggest weakness with this team, if it is the first few games, was the offensive line play. But that's what I think the biggest weakness is. But now the defense has definitely found their identity. The offensive line seems to be gelling a little bit better. And then Milroe, he's got a great upside to him. But whether or not he can be busting loose right now and throwing for all these yards and running for all these yards, I don't think so. I think the guy is slowly coming along, and he has that upside to what he might be doing. He's probably going to be the quarterback for Alabama next year, so he does have. But I think he's just taking Alabama a little time to gel and find their identity, and playing such a big game the second week of the year when they played Acta. That game had all the hype in the world, all over ESPN. Everywhere. That was the game of the year. So Milroe and the whole team was kind of thrown into the fire. That set them back a little bit on finding their identity. Mm-hmm. But they're getting better and better. They're getting better and better each week. The last 2 weeks were good victories for them, in my opinion. Really good victories for them. And it's going to be a tough go in College Station, because A&M's a better team than they're giving them credit for. Now, I do think they're having some quarterback issues, where their starting quarterback went down, and now they got this Max Johnson guy in, but he's been playing college football for 3 or 4 years, so he's not like he's a freshman or nothing like that, But like I said, I don't think Tommy Rees is over their head. I think they're slowly trying to find their offensive identity. First, they had to find a quarterback. They didn't know what they had, and now they're getting an offensive identity was going, and they were slow to get one because of the offensive line play. But that's just my opinion on that. But just so you know, living here in Austin, man, ever since I'm a BAMA fan behind enemy lines, and ever since Texas won that game, man, everybody's out wearing their Texas jerseys, flying their Texas flags on their balconies and everything. Man, if I see one more Texas jersey, I'm going to puke. I'll be honest with you. But they won. Texas won. And they're a good team. They're a good team. I can't take that away from them. They won. They're a good team. But in the perfect world, Kyle, in the perfect world, Texas wins the Big 12, wins out, goes to the playoff. Bama wins out, beats Georgia in the SEC championship game, and gets another shot at Texas. Now, that'd be the perfect world right there, Bama, Texas in the championship game. Whether that's going to play out or not, I don't know. But anyways, like I said, I just don't see how Texas A&M's not ranked in the top 25. That's all. That's pretty much all I got, Kyle.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, and thank you very much to Taylor for the first super chat of the night. Let me ask you something, and we might have to go to our statisticians before you go, Mike. Wasn't Texas A&M unranked the last time that they beat Bama? Or they had lost like 2 games in a row or something like that? Wasn't it? Can someone look that up? Was Texas A&M unranked the last time that Alabama went to College Station? I think they might have been unranked. This is weird, because if they're not ranked now...
It's possible. Right? It's possible because Texas A&M's beat Alabama at least 2 times that I can think of, and then I think beat them one time with Johnny Manziel, and I think beat Alabama again too. Yeah. But Texas A&M's probably the most underrated team that there is, and they've done some excellent recruiting. College Station is probably the best college football atmosphere in the country as far as going to a game and tailgating and all that. So, Texas A&M's going to be ready for them, because another thing about Texas A&M, they got a chip on their shoulder. They're getting absolutely no respect. They're not even top 25. No respect from the media, and they only lost 1 game. No respect from the media, no respect from anybody, no respect from the people on the big channels or nothing like that. Not a whole lot of respect from Bama fans for the most part, I guess. But they could have been unranked. But they should be ranked. In my opinion, Texas A&M should be probably somewhere around number 17 to 20. Now, that's somewhere in there. I know they lost at Miami, but it was early season loss, and they've had some good victories since. But it's going to be a tough game for Bama, because I think Texas A&M is going to be ready. and they've got good linemen. Texas A&M matches up. They have good big guys in the trenches, and that's what it takes to win. But yeah, the Texas A&M probably was unranked last time they played Alabama.
Yeah,
as far as I can remember.
Well, thanks for calling in again, Mike. I appreciate it. And someone just said inside the comment box that they were unranked the last time they did. So just weird coincidences. And like the last time that the two teams played, Jalen Milroe was the quarterback, even though he wasn't the starter, but he played this game. It's just like that. You got to love college football, just like all these strange things that kind of happen. And I agree with you. I think Texas A&M should be ranked, by the way. But please call again next time and we'll catch up with you on our next show.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
You too, one. All right. Mark and Taylor, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you guys contributing tonight. And as you can see, we are just a few subscribers away from 93,000 subscribers right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We go back to the phone lines and we go with a 731 and we'll take it right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, I'm Alex from Savannah, Tennessee.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for calling back. It's good to hear from you. Yeah, that was an interesting stat that Texas A&M wasn't ranked, and I think they had dropped 2 games before they had beat Alabama in that a couple years ago. But anyways, welcome to the show, and what's on your mind?
Well, I'm very proud of what happened with Mississippi State for the most part. Last time I was on the call, I was kind of upset about how Nick Saban was coaching, but he certainly shut me up that game. I've been kind of upset the past year on how Nick Saban hasn't been yelling at his players lately, but he did it during Mississippi State, so I was very happy about that. But Texas A&M is going to be a very, very tough game, so I'm excited for it. I believe we will win, but it will be tough. College Station is a very tough place to play in, and Jalen Milroe really hasn't experienced that yet, but gonna be interesting. So
what is? Let me ask you this, Alex. I've been asking people 5 questions, so and I get it. Like I agree with you. It's like you're going into this game. And by the way, Rhonda, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate you contributing to the show. Thank you very much. Because it is a big test. It is a big road test for Alabama, the biggest one they faced. The biggest game, honestly, that they've played in since that game against Texas. So real quick, Alex, if I may, I want to ask you 5 questions just real fast. You just kind of give me some short, concise answers. Is that cool? We start off with number 1, the biggest strength of this team so far, in your opinion?
Defense.
The biggest weakness of this team so far?
Right now, gotta be. I mean, the O-line played good against Mississippi State, but still, I think our biggest weakness is O-line. So,
who is the X factor of this team?
Well, I know it's. In my opinion, it's on defense. So far, it's between Malachi Moore or Terrion Arnold.
I like that.
Dallas Turner.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those 3 names, right? Like, those guys are playing at such a high level. You didn't even have to mention Kool-Aid because it's like we already know he's playing at such a high level. The defense is, man, there's just so many playmakers on the defense. Okay, watch out for.
Oh, watch out for Milroe.
Right? Kind of sky's the limit.
Milroe. Yeah, he can get you anywhere. If you're not paying attention, he gets out of that pocket. It's over. You ain't catching him. You ain't catching him at all. You have no chance if he starts running an open field.
You don't. You really don't. Okay, and so with that said, is your MVP so far? Is it Milroe?
I really don't know. I mean, he's up there, but defense. I mean, my MVP has to be who saved Alabama so far. I think the person who saved Alabama so far has got to be Roydell Williams or Jace McClellan.
consistent, dependable, have each rushed for, over 100 yards in different games. I think those guys have proven they can tote the rock. Wait, did you get a chance to see? He got in a couple times later in the game, but did you see Justice Haynes, Alex?
Yes, yeah, I did. I was actually at a band competition, and I saw him.
What'd you think about him?
Rush. He's fast. He's faster than he looks.
Yeah, he's something to get excited about, with the running backs, because he's right there. I mean, Jam Miller, after the targeting, so he got kind of elevated to play. So really excited to see if he gets more opportunities down the road. But right now, I'm with you. Like, Roydell and Jay certainly sufficient to carry the load at running back. Anything else on your mind, Alex, before I move to my next caller?
Well, what are you excited for? Which game? I know Nick Saban says not to look ahead and stuff, but if there's a game that you're excited most for, what is that game?
Well, and honestly, this isn't coach speak. Not saying like, I'm like the next game is the most exciting. Honestly, think that this game is the most exciting because you win a game like this on the road against a Texas A&M team who is very talented, has the athletes. I think that this particular game sets the trajectory for Alabama to win out. And if they win in, I don't know, maybe a dominating fashion, or they win by 2 touchdowns, this team catapults with continued momentum to where they're able to get through this gauntlet, and they're able to, make a run at their first goal, which is winning the SEC West. I think it's very capable. I think that this is a marquee game. For the most part, this team is pretty good health, and they're playing at a really good level. A win in College Station puts this team, back in the top 10. Who cares about that? It just gives them that momentum and that kind of added boost going into that Arkansas and Tennessee game, which are both at home. And then you have an open week and you host LSU at home. So this could set up a really good trajectory for Alabama, kind of going into this 4-game gauntlet.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I mean, I don't really care about us being in the top 10 right now.
Yeah.
I actually like being outside of it because it kind of like
it's reverse rat it's reverse rat poison. That's what it is. It's like, I mean, they're not that good. Washington State's better than Alabama. So is Utah. So is Oregon State. All those teams are better than Alabama. So you don't, and that keeps those players hungry, keeps them dialed in. And, people keep talking about everybody else other than Alabama. That's what you want if you're Coach Saban. That's why it's reverse rat poison.
Yeah. And one last question for you. Who do you have in your playoffs? And if we do win the national championship, which that is our, I guess, third, what place do you think the championship would be, like, place-wise and goals? Like, number one, I guess. I mean, in order what you want to do, you want to win the West first, then you want to win the SEC, and you want to win the championship, then you want to win the championship. So, like, if we do win it and we do make the playoffs, what's your playoff bracket and who is in the championship?
Okay. Well, I think that and this is a scenario with Alabama winning. They would probably have to win the SEC to make the playoffs. Let's just say it that way, right? So I would probably say if Alabama is able to run the table the rest of the way, and that includes a victory over Georgia, and let's say that that's Georgia's only loss on the season, and this again is hypothetical. So this is kind of the scenario that I'm working with. Texas going undefeated the rest of the way. So let's give them the number 1 spot. If Alabama was to run the table all the way, well, their only loss would be to the Big 12 champ. So you slot Alabama at number 2, granted that they would beat Georgia. Now, if Georgia is able to run the table and their only loss is to Alabama, then you put Georgia at the 3 spot or at the 4 spot. But let's just put them at 3 because that would be the only loss. And let's put the winner of the Big 10 at the number 4 spot. I think that the ACC, Florida State will probably trip up at some way, and then it will be between Michigan and Ohio State, like it usually seems to be. So let's just say Michigan again. And let's just say that because karma comes back let's say that Lou Holtz comes back and helps Jim Harbaugh coach to beat Ohio State. So let's say in that scenario, it would be Texas versus Michigan with the 1 and the 4. And let's say it would be, wow, that would put Alabama and Georgia at the 2 and 3. I don't think they'd do that. So reverse that and put Texas versus UGA at the 1 and 4 and put Alabama versus Michigan at the 2 and 3. So that would set up possibly a Texas and Alabama showdown in the title game. So look, it's all hypothetical. I don't even know if that'll happen, but you got to beat Texas A&M. But if Alabama wins out, I think they continue to get. If Alabama beats Texas A&M, they get such strong momentum, and I think they're able to take that over. So we'll see. But I appreciate it, Alex. Thanks for calling in, and please call again next time.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
I don't know. I think Texas probably loses. If they beat Oklahoma, they're probably going undefeated. Unless they lose one of those back-end trap games to Texas Tech or Iowa State or in the Big 12 title game. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think they'll be undefeated if they beat Oklahoma? Probably. Michigan and Ohio State, we know one of those teams is going to lose. Georgia, I mean, they look beatable. Playing at Jordan-Hare is tough. If Brock Bowers is on, I mean, man, he's so tough to beat. I don't know. I mean, it's wide open. I definitely don't think that Florida State's going to be there. Do you? Maybe they do. They're going to be the favorite in, I guess, the rest of the games. I know they play Miami. They play Florida on the back end. Who knows? Okay. We go back to the phone lines and we take 804. We start right now. Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle.
How you doing?
What's up, man? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Bragg. I'm calling from Richmond, Virginia.
I missed your first name.
Sprague.
All right, what's up, Sprague? I
That's
appreciate you calling in, man. What's on your mind? Welcome to the show.
Well, man, I think Bama is making great progress. I think each game we're making progress. So let's calm down. I think offensive coordinator just needs a little time. He's new to Bama. He has to learn our whole offense. So we're not moving our offense to him. He has to learn our offense. So I think we're making some improvement there. I see the offensive line is getting better each game. I think the reason we didn't throw it as much against Mississippi State is because of the defense they was running. If you're scouting Alabama, you don't want them to throw the deep ball because we know Milroe can do that. So you have to remember their defense is trying to stop what we do best, and that's throwing it over the top. So they had those 3 safeties to kind of keep us from throwing it deep. So that's why we ran it so much. And then you had those cowbells, and then the center, he keep low snapping, making Milroe have to pull his eyes off the defense. So we have to remember that as well. Milroe is not progressing as fast as we would like because every 5-6 snaps, he got to go down to his shoestring to get the ball. Then he come up, the defense is already moving. I think when Milroe is getting out the pocket, I think he need to get rid of that ball, holding on to the ball and taking sacks, hurting the offensive line. So if we can get rid of that, we can do a couple of more bubble screens and jet sweeps to kind of pull the defense off because we're doing jet sweeps and we're moving the receivers in motion. Now we can kind of see what kind of defense they're playing before pre-snap. I think that I think the punter and the field goal kicker, I think they the MVPs, man. They rock solid, man. The punter has really been doing a great job. Field goal kicker, he's solid. And defense been balling out, you know.
Oh, 100%.
And those are my thoughts about. Yeah, I think that's where we at right now. So each week we're making progress. So just hold on, give Rees a little time. He's new to our offense, and I'm not gonna say Bama is too big for him, but remember this is his first year. Milroe, he only started 5 games. When AJ came in, it took him a little time to get in where he needed to be. And everybody keep talking about Tua, but Tua sat almost the whole freshman year, and then he came in the second half, so Georgia didn't really know what we had. So everybody keeps saying, hey, why Milroe? All those quarterbacks that came in except Jalen Hurts, took a little time to get familiar with the offense. And when Jalen came in, remember we were doing a lot of those run, and we was throwing to half the side of the field because it was easier for him to read. So we got to take that in consideration. This is his 5th game he started. I think he's doing a great job. He didn't force the ball, didn't turn it over. So I think we're moving the right direction. The improvement every week.
On the line with,
and it's always great to see.
On the line with Sprague from Richmond, Virginia. Sorry, I just saw they got a $99 super chat. I appreciate it. That's monumental in the super chat world. So thank you so much, Miss Lisa Lucht. I appreciate the support. On with Sprague from VA talking about Alabama's offense and to be patient with Rees. And I get it both ways, because when you look to kind of the parameters about this team, Jalen Milroe, how many games has he started? Okay, he started against Texas A&M, and he started 4 games this year? He started 5. He started 5 games. So you're right. Like it's still young, and the biggest thing is he is trending upward every single game. And I love the fact, and I said in my bold predictions, I said that he would not throw an interception against Mississippi State. There was a lot of people kind of going back and forth that he's just this turnover machine. He's not. He's an evolving quarterback. And I love that he is cognizant enough to just eat a sack. It sucks. Yeah, people are frustrated, but it's better than throwing an interception. He made some really good throws in this last game. And the tight ends, look, the tight ends are doing a really good job for this team. I know we'd like to see more production to the wide receivers and see them rack up the yards, and who knows, whatever. It could affect wide receivers and recruiting, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is the tight ends are doing a really good job when they're called on. Like, these guys are catching the football. And remember, Sprague, during the fall camp, when we were harping on the fact that these wide receivers couldn't catch the football, these guys have been elite when catching the football. I don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to jinx it, but I feel credit is due for the wide receivers. How many drop balls have you seen so far? Limited number, right?
I haven't seen it.
There was a drop pass. There was a drop pass by Amari Niblack against Ole Miss. But besides that, this team has been catching the football.
Right, and they took a touchdown from him last night. I think that should have been a touchdown.
You don't think, because we were talking, Coach Sean and I were talking about that earlier. You don't think the ball like hit the ground? You think, because his feet were definitely in.
The ball didn't hit the ground. I didn't see the ball hit the ground. But, once again, I mean, we are Bama, so we don't get the benefit of the doubt. But it was great to see Coach Saban go ahead and chew him out, get him in line a little bit. That was my favorite moment of the night,
Hey, well, Sprague, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.
All right, man. You have a blessing and be great.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So truth be told, I have to go up and highlight the super chat, okay? So Lisa is my mom, and she has just super chatted me $99. And thank you, Mom. I really appreciate you. And truth be told, I wouldn't be in this position I was if it wasn't for my mom. So to all the moms out there who support your kid through every single thing, we appreciate you, and I really appreciate you, Mom. So thank you very much for the super chat and everything else you do for me. I really appreciate you. So thank you very much. With that said, we move to our next caller, and we go to a 337, and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Bro, I don't need no introduction. This is your boy from Louisiana over here, smiling from ear to ear, because LSU got whooped. Well, they didn't get whooped, but they got beat, and I was so excited. It was just, it's the most amazing thing. But I'm going to tell you something about that game. All right, we got to play these fools pretty soon. And they have a high potent offense. I mean, they do have a great offense. I'm not gonna lie, they do. They got a running back. I don't remember what that boy's name is, but he can run the rock.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a defense, or the defense gets just as a little bit better than what ours is or close to what ours is, that's going to be a knockdown drag out in Bryant Denny. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because they can score at will. You said that last night. To put up that many points against Ole Miss, which they didn't have much of a defense, but they held our offense, which I think we have higher caliber players than what Ole Miss does on offense, to just 20-something points. I'm telling you, man, I don't take these coon asses down here lightly at all. One bit at all. But enough about these fools over here. Let's talk some Alabama football.
What would
Tommy
you
Rees.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to ask, like, which direction that you wanted to go, because I think when you, like, we've been talking this later part of the show about Tommy Rees, and kind of there's been some good context. Like, some people have talked about Tommy Rees, and the fact that kind of give him time. Other people have said that he's too overwhelmed with the fact that, this is Alabama, this is Notre Dame. What is your early assessment of Tommy Rees through the first 5 games of the season?
I think he's young. He's still trying to learn that complex, and if you don't believe me, you can look it up yourself, complex offense that Lane Kiffin developed at Alabama. And Sarkisian tweaked it a little bit and made it into his and maintained that offense to the successful powerhouse that Alabama had as an offense while he was there. This is only Tommy Rees's 3rd year as an OC, period. He was the quarterback coach at Notre Dame from 2017 to 2019, and he took over in 20. So, 20, 21, 22 at Notre Dame. So basically this is going into his, I guess, 4th year as an OC. He's still a young guy. I mean, when Lane Kiffin was the OC and he became an OC, 2 years later he was the head coach at the Raiders. It's just different. It's a big difference of the I guess the mentality. Somebody who's got more of the offensive mindset like Lane Kiffin and Sarkisian does, compared to this young guy. We just got to have some faith in him. Our O-line's got to do some more blocking. And we can't put all the blame on him, because I've seen several times, and I'm sure you have, and some of the other people that's in the comment box have seen, where Milroe misses somebody wide open. I've seen Burton wide open several times in, past games. Bond open. We can't put all the blame on him. It comes down to, at the end of the day, just like Coach Saban says, it does fall on the coaching at times. But it really falls down on the players not doing their job on the field. People can agree and people can disagree with me. That's the great part about being an American. You have your rights. But he's still young. I think once we start getting into a better groove and the O-line can start doing a little bit better protecting, I mean, I don't have a problem with the run game on the O-line. They seem to push, people around at will. But when it comes to we get into the pass, man, we have running backs that need to start learning how to stay in the backfield a little bit more, and even if it's just a brush block, to bump the defender, the defensive guy coming in, to where he can just knock him off a little bit and then get around and maybe be in the flat for an open pass or something like that. Something's got to give on the O-line defense. I don't have a problem with them whatsoever. The last 6 minutes of the game last night, I guess they forgot that they were still playing, because I think several missed tackles last night, And I mean, I remember back in the day when Coach Saban, we could be up 195 to 3, and if there was still 30 seconds left on that clock, and the opposing team had the ball, and you didn't tackle somebody, or you missed your tackle or whatever, he would throw the headset across the football field almost, or snap it in his hands.
I thought he got mad late in the game. Did he get mad?
Oh, he did get mad. But I'm just saying it hadn't been that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Games,
I got what you're saying.
you
All right.
know?
Yeah. I got what you're saying.
When we were ahead, when we're blowing these teams out, which we ain't blew too many out, but the ones we have beat, the game ain't over until it's 0 and you see the referees running off the football field. That's just the way it is. But I'm happy the way Alabama's progressing. They are slowly progressing and getting better. I was very excited last night on I believe it was 3 interceptions we had last night, and 1 for a pick six. That was very promising. One of my downfalls with Alabama right now is special teams. In my opinion, that they're just not. They're doing some stupid stuff,
Wait, on special teams?
Yeah, I'm talking about like a punt. When the opposing team punts, we've had penalties on holding and stuff like that. And you can clearly see Kool-Aid waving everybody off or whoever. We need to work on the penalty side of the things on special teams, because what if Kool-Aid breaks one for 87 yards or whatever, and the next thing you know, he's down there dancing in the end zone and giving all.
Yeah, there has, because it wasn't that there was because this team should have a kick return for a touchdown, wasn't it? Was it Terran Arnold?
Yep.
And there was a penalty, and then there was something else. There was another weird penalty on. So yeah, some of those little penalties, because I think overall this team has 5 touchdowns that have been taken off the board. By the way, we got the Chiefs and the Jets 20-20 in the fourth quarter. Thanks for the update on that. That's an interesting score, by the way. Starter Kick is saying that the special teams kick coverage was awful. So there you go. So there are some things to point out regarding the special teams. Anything else, David, before I move to my next caller?
If you want to do those 5 quick questions for me, I believe it is, and I'll give you my quick answers.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, let me get that graphic ready for you, and let's get this going. Okay, so the first question, you ready? No phone a friend. You're out of your lifelines. Okay, so we will start right now. Okay, so the biggest strength of this team is.
The biggest strength as of right now would be the defense. I'm not going to say it's going to be Terry and Arnold or Kool-Aid or whoever. I'm just saying the defense as a whole.
Okay. Biggest weakness of this team?
O-line, of course, in the passing game as of now.
Who is this team's X factor?
I'm going to give it to the running back room, period.
And watch out for
Miss Terry leaving her seat and signing Tommy Rees and putting some knots on his head.
Yeah.
I think she needs to have a heart-to-heart with Tommy Rees myself. They need to have a one-on-one, because she's the boss, as you can see.
100%.
She's the boss.
100%. And the MVP so far this season is?
Oh, man. I'll give it to man, that's a tough one, because I'm big on the running back, but as of right now, I'm going to have to go with Jaden Milroe. He showed maturity, especially whenever he had to set out that one game and come in and started taking control game by game, and the team has gotten behind him, and that's what we need. As a leader, you need to take control and prove to the team around you that I'm the man, and I will do what I got to do for you if you do what you got to do for me. And he's my MVP as of right now. But and he can't do nothing but get better if the team gets better around him, offensively, especially. But anyways, other than that, I'm gonna close mine out. God bless everyone. God bless the United States of America. Roll Tide. Y'all be safe.
All right. Roll Tide to you. That's David calling from Louisiana. We got a 631 and a 334. Those will be our final calls of the night. Someone just said, Evram just said that Taylor Swift is in the building. Did you? So everybody has seen it, right? So Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. But did you see when the last game that Taylor Swift went to, they wheeled her out in this popcorn machine? And so, like, people are, like, filming this popcorn machine that is, like, rolling down because, like, you know, she would create, like, such a buzz or whatever. So can you imagine that's your life is, like, you have to get into a popcorn machine to, like, leave a building? Like, do you want that life? I don't know. If I want to be getting into a popcorn machine to be exiting anywhere. What's up, Dwayne? Dwayne is a member of our Champions Club right here on BAMA Football on YouTube. How to become a member of our Champions Club? Just hit the join button at the bottom of any video, or you can go to the homepage of our YouTube channel and hit the join button and become a fan funder. We appreciate you, Dwayne. What's up? Appreciate you joining us tonight. All right. Next call is at 631. Let's start it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's going on, brother? It's Anthony from Long Island, man. How you been?
Hey, what's up, Anthony? I appreciate you calling in. We went from Brooklyn. We went to Louisiana. Now we're going up to Long Island, man. So I appreciate you calling in and welcome to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man. Pushing up this good content, giving us the platform to, you know, give our voice and everything like that. So I just basically want to piggyback off of last two callers. I think it was the last two callers, basically. You know, Tommy Rees and the offense and everything like that. There's a lot more. There's a few things obviously he could do, you know, but you know, it's early into the process. You know, as far as you know, Milroe being his fifth start. You know, if you want to count Nick last year, the few starts that he did. You know, he hasn't really played an entire full season yet. So, you know, and then you also, you know, factor in, you know, when you play different teams, they obviously present different matchups as far as scheme-wise and what they do. So, you know, that plays a big role. And I think that was the main thing last game. I think that, you know, we kind of played it conservative but on purpose. And that's just, you know, my opinion. You know, because I think that, you know, they felt, you know, that they could be able to shut Mississippi's offense down. You know, their running back got hurt, so that, you know, it kind of limited them a lot more than they already was. So I think they kind of played it safe last, you know, and knowing that the defense, you know, is playing lights out as they're playing right now, and, you know, Mississippi State offensive line not being what it is, and, you know, our, you know, linebackers and edge rushers, you know, being what they are. So as far as the offense, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, I would want to see, you know, more explosive plays, but I gotta be honest with you, man. I like it, man. It's old school, you know, Alabama football. It takes me back to the early age. You know, a lot of Alabama fans say, you know, when the offense is pumping and putting 40 on the board, you know, all the defenses, you know, we want the defense, you know, back. Where's that old Alabama defense? And now that we, you know, got that old Alabama defense, you know, people asking for pumping 40 on the board. So, you know, they're trying to have it both ways, which obviously would be, you know, nice. But I don't mind it. You know, I don't mind to grind it out, run the ball, you know, which, you know, we haven't experienced and been able to see for the past few years. You know, it's been, you know, just chuck it, you know, which, you know, we were successful at. But, you know, I like Roydell Williams and Chase. I like what they bring to the table. They're both physical. They're both big. They both, you know, can move, you know, for their size, and, you know, and they finish, you know. So, you know, doing that with the offensive line, they can obviously, you know, get better in passing, and that comes with time and stuff. But, you know, I like where we're at right now. You know, Milroe, you know, is what he is. You know, I don't think that, you know, as far as, you know, reading defense, he's not a one-read quarterback. You know, I hear a lot of people saying that he's just a one-read quarterback. But when you really look at, you know, I go back and watch the games, you know, people cut him in half, you know, 30, 45 minutes and stuff. And, you know, I watch the games and, you know, he goes through his progression, sometimes to his default, where I think he should take off. and kind of run. But I think he gets inside of his head a little bit, in my opinion, wanting to, stay back there and really sit in the pocket. When sometimes he should take off, which is a good thing, but not it's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing at the same time, because he shows that mature, and that progression as far as him willing to stand in that pocket, and go through his progressions in his read, and take that hit, which he did with that touchdown. I think it was last week to hell. So it's early. It's early as far as everybody gelling together. It's just like if you go to a new job or stuff like that. You gotta get familiar with how people work and what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. So as far as that, I think it's just giving it time, and we see each week, everybody seems to be progressing as far as the offensive line getting better. Pass blocking, the snaps is obviously get better, because I agree 1,000%. That was probably one of the best points made all night, as far as the snaps being so low, for him have to, go down and get them and then look up, and kind of find where his receivers are and where the defense is. That's a big part, instead of them snaps coming, right where they're supposed to be, and then him be able to react, the time that he needs to react. So I think if they get that, down, sprinkling a little bit more, jet sweeps and, screens and slants. I need some slants, and I need some slants and some halfback screens, If they do that, I like the personnel that he runs. The 12 personnel with the tight end. Dupree, I think is that name.
CJ Dupree.
I like it a lot. That's one of their best. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, and I got to move to my next caller in just a second. On with Anthony in Long Island, but it does kind of feel like an old school sense, kind of from the defense, because the defense is just like, take time to enjoy this defense, because they're playing at such a high level. And man, it's been like this. Someone said it earlier in the show. This defense is much better than last year's defense, which is crazy, because you had William Anderson on this team, the number 3 pick in the NFL draft. But this team, the way that they're playing collectively, like someone was like Malachi Moore, Terran Arnold, Kool-Aid, Dallas Turner. Actually who's playing on fire is Tim Keenan. Tim Keenan is playing in the trenches. He has actually the second most quarterback hurries after Dallas Turner. Anthony, I'm going to run to my next caller, but I appreciate you calling in. Take care. I appreciate the points. And you're right. Like, it's early. We're about to go to like this meat of the schedule. This is the meat that we're about to go into. So maybe we come back after that meat and see where things are. But we certainly are about to find out where this team is going into Texas A&M. It's good to hear from you, by the way. So thanks for calling in.
All right, brother. Same to you.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, Anthony calling in from Long Island. All right, last caller of the night. It's at 334. Let's start it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Hunter from Alabama.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I appreciate you calling in. There's a lot to go over. We've talked about the offensive coordinator. We've talked about the success of the defense. But most importantly, I think, we've talked about this team trending upward, which has been a pretty good vibe, to be honest, because I think you'd be hard-pressed to say that this team is sliding backwards. If anything, they're moving upwards. And there was, before that Ole Miss game, I think there was a lot of people that were concerned about where this team was going to go, either up or down. And once they did beat Ole Miss, I think they wanted to see it again. And now putting Mississippi State away, I think it's been relieved a little bit. Not to say that they're, anything is an automatic win in the SEC, but I think people are starting to feel good about the trajectory of the team. So I'm happy that you joined us. What's on your mind, man? Could you turn the background volume down, please?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. So go ahead. I appreciate you calling in.
Oh yeah. So, I agree with what you're saying. I think that not naming Jalen Milroe as the starter at the beginning of the season was a mistake.
Yep.
And let me tell you why. If you look at how the team's playing since he was named the official starter, the team's kind of rallied around him and go, okay, that's our guy. And I think this offensive line is playing a lot better, partly because of that.
Are you there? Did we lose you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why they're playing better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that moving forward, if we don't have the bad snaps and we don't have some of just the mental errors, if we get rid of the mental errors, everybody would talk about this team a little bit different. But it just seems that we shoot ourselves in the foot so much early in games, and we played pretty good in the second half of the last two games. But I don't know what it is about the first half that's just rattling these players.
Mm-hmm. I think I have a graphic that shows. I'll look for it real quick and see if I can dig it out, because it does show. Here it is. I found it faster than I thought I could. It shows Alabama at a glance throughout how they've played through each quarter, and this is very interesting because it kind of hits on exactly what you're talking about, is the fact that they just haven't been able to be a first half type team. We did kind of see it against Mississippi State, but collectively they haven't. So here are those statistics. Let me bring those up. Check this out. This is interesting. So here's Alabama by periods. And it shows you in the first quarter that Alabama has outscored the opposition 31-13. In the second quarter, 43-20. Okay, those are great, right? They look good and whatever. Before last night, Alabama hadn't led since Middle Tennessee because they were trailing to Texas at halftime 13-6. Then they were losing, or what was it? They were tied with South Florida, and then they were losing to Ole Miss 7-6. So with it being 45-17 in the third quarter and then 42-21 in the fourth quarter, you see clearly by the numbers that this team has been able to be more of a second half type team. That's why we're continuing to say that, they really haven't played 4 quarters of football. You could maybe say it last night, but still, I think the sky is the limit for this team.
Oh, I agree 100% with there. And let me run this by you. Something I've talked to some friends about, and I've said this multiple times throughout this season, is if you were let's say I was to name you the offensive coordinator at Alabama, right?
Okay.
Wouldn't you go through and go back to the Mike Locksley era, the Steve Sarkisian era, and the Lane Kiffin era, and go, let's pull some ideas from these guys who were very successful in what they did, and then implement some of my stuff and trickle that in. I mean, it sounds like common sense, and I just don't know why Tommy has not done that, and why Bill O'Brien didn't do that. Bill O'Brien didn't do that either. And that's the thing that I was so frustrated with last year, and I was hoping this guy, being a younger guy, that he would not be so stuck in his own system that he can go, okay, I can learn from these other successful Alabama coordinators. And, I mean, that's what I would do. If I was given that task, that's exactly what I would do. Yes, I would still trickle in some of my concepts, and, with the tight end sets and all that. That's fine. I agree with that. But now I do understand that we don't have the wide receiver talent that we had, in years past, but I still think we're good enough to do some of those concepts. I mean, that's the thing that frustrates me with the offense right now, is there's got to be some concepts that you can pull out of those guys' offenses to implement in what we're trying to do on offense.
I think sometimes you look to these power positions and you wonder if these guys want to pull something else out from somebody else's bag of tricks, so to speak, because, maybe these guys just want to run it a specific way. I don't know, because when they always come here, it's always like the Alabama offense, but this is the first time that the offenses look completely different in terms of even the schematic approach. But maybe that's because they have a different type of quarterback. I don't know. But, certainly could be the case in terms of using the 12 personnel was completely different than what, Locks had and what Steve Sarkisian was implementing. Hunter, make one more final point before we close it out, man.
Yeah, I think our defense is playing very well. I think I'm very happy with our defense right now. We got to get Lawson back healthy. I mean, Lawson is just unstoppable. But I was glad to see Kendrick Blackshire in there this week. You get to see him in the game and see what he can do. I think he has a very high ceiling for the rest of this year, especially going into next year. I think he can be a starter next year. So seeing guys like him, Sean Murphy got some playing time this week. So, there's some younger guys on defense that will benefit from some of this. I mean, remember the year where Christian Harris got a lot of playing time because our starting look at the career he had.
Yeah.
So it sucks that Deontay's out, and we don't want Deontay hurt. Don't get me wrong, but there is an upside. When something unfortunate happens, is you get some guys some playing time who, otherwise probably wouldn't get. So it's a double-edged sword. But I'm not saying by any means that I wish that Deontay was hurt. But there is a silver lining in that.
I'm currently showing the defensive statistics, and through the first 5 games of the season. Excuse me, you have freshman Caleb Downs with 40 tackles, which leads the team and got his first interception against Mississippi State. He has 1 pass breakup. You have Tresman Marshall, who has 30 tackles. So there's a 10 tackle difference between the two. You also have Jalen Key, who has 29 tackles, Terran Arnold, who has 28 tackles, Jaha Campbell, who has 28 tackles as well, and Malachi Moore, who has 27. Now you look to the sacks category. Dallas Turner has 5.5 sacks, followed by 3.5 sacks by Chris Broswell. Interceptions, Alabama's been able to get some pretty good interceptions. I mean, this is 5 interceptions this season. And then the pass rushing, the QBH, that's quarterback hurries. And as you can see, Tim Keenan has 4, and Dallas Turner leads the team with 7. So Tim Keenan doing a great job. Hey, Hunter, I appreciate you calling in, man. Please call in again, and we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
All right, man. Sounds good.
See you, buddy. All right, fam, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Kyle Henderson of BAMA Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. This is a great show. We went 3 hours. I appreciate all the super chats and all the support right here on BAMA Football on YouTube, inching closer to 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. On Monday, we have Coach Saban, we have Jimbo Fisher, we have Jalen Milroe, we have Dallas Turner. Tons of coverage coming your way on Bama Football on YouTube. I will replay this in the morning so you guys can listen to it as a podcast while you guys are getting ready or whatever. And special thanks to everybody who contributed to the show tonight. Great list of callers. I really, really appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday evening. Enjoy the rest of the Jets and the Chiefs, and I will catch up with you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.